Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Zamora 2-Player Podcast. I am your player one, Garrett Zamora, and I am once again joined by my brother Matt.
Hey.
Back to our sort of remote setup.
Yeah, not in person this time, sadly, but
Nope.
still, it was. I've been watching the Game of the Year, our wrap up episode, so I've been kind of in that space the last couple of days,
Sure.
actually. So yeah, but
Yeah, so we're back to our normal lives. We've both been kind of busy since then, so this is really the first time that we've really had to kind of sit down and chat. Probably a little shorter. There's just a couple of games I want to talk about before we get. I was just telling Matt before we started. Our next episode will probably the next one with me and Matt at least. We'll probably be talking about Tekken because it will be out. And then after that will be like shortly before Rebirth comes out. So it was like, oh, we better do this one now to talk about a couple games. Because the next two are probably going to be dominated by Tekken and at least Tekken and Rebirth. So yeah, so we're kind of here today. So Matt, you finished Resident Evil 4
yep.
before the break. And then I got you super hooked on Breath of the Wild.
Hooked is putting it lightly.
Yeah, so we're definitely going to dive into that because I just want to talk about that with you because it's so fun watching someone discover that game, for the first time. So we'll get into that later. And I've been going through because I finally had time. I think we made this joke a few times, like over the last couple podcasts that about I wanted to go through and play some of the Mega Man X collection just to replay some of them, and I just haven't had time because there's so many games, and I finally had like a good month and a half, so I've been going through some of those, so we're going to talk about that as well. And I actually just tried the Granblue Fantasy Relink demo yesterday, which is a game that comes out, I think it's like February 1st or January 30th or like right around that time. And it'll be a nice game to take my mind off of Rebirth for the last month of waiting. Plus it's just really fun in its own right based on that demo. So we'll definitely talk about that. What was I gonna say? Well, because I've been playing. Maybe I'll bring this up another time. I've been playing a lot of Genshin Impact as well because my friends got me super into that game. But I feel like I could talk about that a little more extensively later. So we'll bring that up at another point. Plus, I'd rather dedicate a little more time to that game to talk about it. But so anyway, yeah. So we're back to our normal routines. We talked to you about I think it was I feel like it was our first edition of the Matt Platt segment when we talked about Mega Man X Legacy, which actually brings up another point. I tweeted this out the other day, but it was like it was over a year ago now that we did our first episode. I think it was like January 9th or something like that. And so it's cool to.
Hard to believe.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. And we both, we said we'd do 6 and just see how we feel about it at that point. And I feel like it became less about like the numbers and more just like, well, I need to talk more though. Like I need to talk about games more. So it kind of just became more of that outlet for me. So anyway, I thought that was a fun fact when I was like, I went to look like when was our actual first one because I knew it was in January and it was like January 9th or something. So yeah, I've been doing this for a year. So starting 2024 off a little more relaxed on my side at least, just waiting for the big games to start coming. So yeah, I've had time to start going through so I have the Mega Man X Legacy collections, like 1 and 2 volumes. On my PC, so I've been going through those. And one of the cool things that I like, every sort of like tech support fiber in my body was like, there's no way this works. So I have the the Switch like Super Nintendo controller,
Yeah.
and it's just USB-C. It's not some proprietary
Okay.
cable like Nintendo used to do all the time. And I'm just like, there's no way I just plug this into my computer and it recognizes it properly. Like, it's
Yeah.
Nintendo. They use proprietary stuff. Like, I'm just like, no, I'll try it just to like prove that it
Proof.
doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I plugged it in and I went on like my Steam and said like detect controller, and it's like, yep, we can use this controller, no problem. I was like, what?
Amazing.
So that kind of gave me the motivation to start my Mega Man X playthroughs, because the first three of them, obviously the Super Nintendo ones, I was
Yeah.
like, well, now I can play this game with an SNES controller.
Yeah.
So I have to, that was definitely the thing that motivated me to like, okay, let me start playing through these again.
I thought you were gonna say, because I played them on PS5,
Mhm.
which is kind of hilarious. But I thought you were gonna say you used that, plugged it in the PS5, and it worked.
Mm.
I mean, is there a 0% chance that works? I don't
I
know, but I feel like
Yeah.
it's less likely.
Yeah, I don't think that would work because it's
But
missing buttons. It
uh,
doesn't have as many buttons as
true.
like a PS5 would be looking for. So
Yeah, it may just be like this is a foreign entity.
yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think
just
that would work at all. Yeah.
just from the interface perspective kind of
Right.
thing. Yeah.
Right.
But anyways, cool that it worked on your computer. I was not expecting that
Yeah.
as a Switch device,
Like an
more or
official,
less.
yeah, it's like an
Yeah.
official Nintendo product or whatever. And because I have those games on Steam, so I've just been going through those, and then I like one, two, X1, X2, X3. I did on the Super Nintendo controller, and when I
Mm.
got to the 4, 5, and and beyond, I switched to like I have a PS4 controller, so I
Yep.
just switched to that because it obviously needs
Nice.
the extra buttons and whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so yeah, so I went through those.
Where are you at?
So I got to 7. I got up to
Oh,
X7.
wow. Okay.
I don't like it at all.
No,
I
it's
think I think I'm just gonna skip it.
yeah.
I really just was not having fun. It definitely just, well, here we'll start at the beginning. So I got up to and started 8. But we'll start at the beginning. So X1, X2, X3 with that Super Nintendo controller just felt so fucking good. Like
Yeah.
that was like nostalgia overload for sure. I still think I like X2 the best out of the 3 SNES ones.
Yeah.
X3 got like a little like cranked up the difficulty almost a little too much, and like I don't even think I did it 100% right because I didn't get the Z Saber, which I think you're supposed to if you do everything the right way. I
Yeah.
didn't like like
Two is the X Hunters and three was
it's like the 0 parts or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
And I don't think I think I did something wrong because I didn't get the sword at the end, which I think you're supposed to. But it was fine. Like I still got all the the armor parts and the heart tanks, energy tanks, whatever.
Yeah.
For the first 3 games, and I do think X2 was still my favorite of the 3. Like X1 is great, but it's almost like too easy. I feel,
Yeah.
and it's I don't know. It definitely like was like the sort of proof of concept. Like, oh, this is how you move Mega Man to the next gen.
Yeah.
From Mega Man to Mega Man X, and then X2 is like, okay, now we know how this game is going to work. Let's just make it even better. And I feel
Yeah.
like it's not overly complicated with those X Hunters because like
Yeah.
if you're not ready to fight one of them, then you can just like you can sort of manipulate by like
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
another
yeah.
stage and exiting, and then they'll So I was pretty familiar with doing that, and difficulty felt good. Pretty much what I remember.
I think I talked about this when I was playing it. Was the musical font of X2 is really has a nostalgia to me because
Yes.
I do remember rented that game, and I think that was the first time we had ever experienced the 7-day rental.
Okay.
And it was just like, oh, rent for 7 days? Oh man. And like I just felt like we owned that game. Like, oh yeah,
Sure.
we have to bring this back. I thought we just owned this. We had it for
Yeah.
7 days. But anyway, I remember that is a special nostalgia
That's
for me.
probably why I feel like, because I know we had X, that one we owned.
Hmm.
And I'm like, man, but I played so much X2, and we must have
Yeah.
just rented it like 7-day rentals multiple times.
Yeah.
Because I
Oh
really
yeah.
feel like I remembered everything that game was throwing at me.
Yeah.
I remember, so even in X1 and X2, on the Legacy Collection, they do have those like secret, like the Hadouken and
Yeah. Yeah.
the like the Dragon
Sure you
Punch, I
can.
think is what they technically call it, but it says Shoryuken. Um, and I remember like, because like we had the Nintendo Power that had Mega Man X on the cover,
Yeah.
but it wasn't in that. The Hadouken
No.
secret was in one of those like cheat code sections in a
Yep.
later volume. And I remember reading that. I'm like, because like you had to get all the stuff. I think it said in that cheat code that you had to have all your sub tanks filled. I don't know if
Hmm.
that's actually true, but I did it anyway, just in case,
I
because I
mean,
remember that was a step.
I going through Armored Armadillo stage 5 times. You fill them up
Yeah,
over time
yeah.
anyway. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then like, what? You go to his stage and just get to the end and then just leave like four
Hmm.
times, and then the fifth time is there. I'm like, this is stupid. And
It
it's like even the
seems
ledge isn't big enough for a capsule. It's so tiny that you. And I remember doing it as a kid, and I feel like it was like late at night or something, and I was just up playing it. And I remember like getting there and jumping and like seeing it, and I was just like, I was like, it's real.
yeah. It seems like a troll.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just like I'm just being trolled
Yeah.
here. But anyway, then you get it, and then like one hit kill anyone, anywhere.
Yeah. You just have
Full
to be
life,
at full
full
health
life.
to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so that was fun trying to, because I know like I got the dog and the first Sigma with it. And
Yep,
it's like you gotta be
yep.
fast because they come charging at you immediately.
It's like.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the dog did where
Oh,
he
off the
jumped
wall.
on the wall above me and jumped back
Mm,
down, and I got him on the way down or
mm.
whatever. But anyway,
Yeah, you gotta be fast.
that was very satisfying to do that, and I'm glad that, not that I would feel like those would be taken out of the Legacy Collection or modified in some way, but it's fun that it's like this is what I did back in like '95 or whatever. Like, let me just
Yep.
see if it works the same way, and it does.
On
And
the PlayStation version, there was a setting of like, oh, like add more pixels to make it seem like a
yeah.
little bit. And I was just like, no, OG pixels.
Sure. Yeah, that's
Uh,
the it's like a filter or something.
yeah,
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 yeah, it's same on this version.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, that felt really fun to do, and then I had to look up how to get the Shoryuken one. I knew it was like roughly the same. Have all the stuff, but I just forgot where you. I could like I could visualize like you slide down a thing and like go and
Mm,
hit, but I didn't remember where, what place, or anyway. So
Sigma 2 stage or
something, yeah, it
something.
wasn't
Yeah,
one of the normal stages. It was like one of the Sigma ones.
yeah.
Weirdly, am I forgetting? I don't think X1 did boss refights. Now that I'm thinking back, because I remember getting to the end of X, I'm like, oh, I guess they dropped that. They dropped that element, but then X2 you get them again, where you just get a room with like 8 capsules and you go
Yeah,
fight. I
yeah.
don't think you did that in X. Now that I'm thinking about it,
Or maybe you do. I can't remember. You're second
yeah.
guessing. Yeah, but anyways,
And I only say that because I remember having that very specific thought. I'm like, oh, did they? I
mm,
guess they don't do refights in the X games or whatever. And like,
yeah,
I
yeah,
thought they
yeah.
did, but maybe not. And then it's because X2 they put them back in again. Anyway, um, but then yeah, like X3 was just like, man, that game was so hard, and I did
Mm,
not like the um X Buster upgrade shot. It
yep.
sucks.
Yeah, yep,
Because it
yeah.
like you have to shoot them together, but then in that moment where it like does this sort of expansion, it's like kind of not very. It's like really small hitbox, and it's just like, yeah, I'm just like,
Yeah.
I don't like this one. This one doesn't feel as good. And um, I don't
I
know.
remember I remember like maybe first playing it or playing it as an adult of just like because that's when it's like Dr. Doppler.
Mhm.
And it's like, what the hell? Oh man, like Sigma was awesome. Like, why is it? Oh, it is. It's just Sigma.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He's
Uh,
there. He shows up.
and then like subsequent games is like, oh no, it's the whatever arm. Oh, it's just Sigma again.
It's the Sigma virus or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just never going away.
Yeah.
Um. So anyway, yeah, like 3 was like, nah, like I still finished it, and and like it still had the nostalgia because I did for sure play that one, and it does
Yeah.
have its soundtrack is more similar to X2 than X2 is to X1. I feel like,
Yeah.
just like that. Would you call it? Like the audio? You said the word
The
or
font, the
yeah,
font of it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
definitely they
Yeah.
have a similar sound, and so some of those tracks still like, had some nostalgia. Um, but like I
I
said,
love
I
all Mega Man X music
it's so
so
good.
much.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
It's yeah, and it's like how do I put it? It's like the melodies themselves aren't very long because they're short
No.
stages, so they're like
Yeah.
quick loops. But it's like it doesn't matter. Like it's just so like they just it's like so condensed, but it's like it's almost like they had a better like a better written song that they had to when you have like a you hear like in DVD commentaries stuff like you have a really long episode and you're
Mm.
just cutting fat until you can get it into 21 minutes and it's all
Yeah.
gold. That's
Yeah.
what their music sometimes feels like. It's like, man, this probably could have been a longer thing, but they're like, oh, that's way too long of a loop. You don't even hear the whole thing, so they just like narrow it down
Yeah.
so it's all the good parts.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Exactly.
but
Uh,
yeah, especially and maybe this for sure is just like the bias of growing up with a Super Nintendo, but like
mm.
the Super Nintendo like game like the X games soundtracks hit me way harder than the other ones. The
Yeah.
other ones were
Yeah.
more highly produced and CD quality sound and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. But it's just like it's definitely just the nostalgia pull that I have with the
Mm.
sound of the SNES tracks.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I did almost everything in X3. Like I said, I definitely fucked up how to get Zero's sword. I know you do get that if you do everything right. I just didn't.
Are
I didn't look it up to like
Are you
figure out what I
actively
missed.
trying to get trophies along the
Uh,
way, or
no,
yeah.
I'm not you.
Yeah.
There's no way I could get them on these games. I'm just playing through them for like the nostalgia and I
Fair.
just love Mega Man X games. Like they're just like I love those action games. Like they're so. I just love Mega
There's
Man games.
Yeah, oh
They're
man.
just so good.
There's one trophy that's either in X5 or X6 that it's called like I ain't Quick Man, or it's something about Quick Man.
Is the one where you get like a rating? I think you told me about this.
No, not
Uh,
that. It's like there's a Sigma stage. I think it's X6 where it's like Quick Man stage from Mega Man 2 NES where it's vertical and there's like the
oh
like
fuck yes,
uh
yeah, I remember
um
that.
so the achievement is do that without using the time stop.
No,
So yeah, so
I will
that
not do
was
that.
that was hard.
Fuck
That was
no.
effing hard.
God, that was so. I hated that stage.
Because I was like, no, that's impossible. That's literally impossible. It's like
You
I
have to have it like so memorized and
oh
like oh
I
yeah.
was so happy when I did it. Like that was hours. But
God.
anyway,
Yeah, no,
uh,
I will not be doing that.
because I'm
Even
looking
using
back.
the time stop, I could barely do it. I'm like, I have
I
to find out
know.
the right time to use the time stop.
Yeah.
And then, anyway, yeah, that one took me many, many tries.
Mm.
So, yeah, you can have that
Anyway,
one.
yeah.
I'm not going for it. Um, so, when I get to X4, so I switch to my PlayStation controller.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, a quick question
oh,
for
yeah.
1 to 3. Do you do A for dash
No,
or R1?
I switch it to R for sure.
Yeah. Or
Uh,
sorry, yeah, R, yeah.
on that controller, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because I remember doing that like as a kid, and it's like, oh, this is what.
I had to do it
Yeah,
like
I
this.
know. And so, when I started playing the Legacy, I was like, you know what? It's meant to be A. I should just figure it out how to do
Sure.
this with A. And I think I did X1 with A, and then my finger just like, God
Yeah.
damn it, my finger is like sore.
When we had X1, that's how I played it because I don't
Mhm.
think I knew I could change it when,
Yeah,
because that
yeah.
wasn't a thing you did much in games back then. Like,
No, you just
you
hit
know,
start and go. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, and it was
yeah.
like you literally had to hold it like this and like
Oh,
roll, like you had to claw, you had to
yeah.
claw your controller
So
to hold it like to
my
hit the A.
the muscles in my finger, and then just like my finger cuticle nail was just raw, and I was
Yeah.
like, no, fuck this. Like I'm doing it R1,
It makes
like
changing weapons a little weird because then it's like, but doing this to dash instead of like
I,
trying to
I know. I was
claw
just
the
like, nope.
controller.
I will change my weapons via hitting start. I'll
Sure.
be fine.
Yeah.
But no, I never. I did it for the first one. Then I was like, nope, this is
Yeah.
um definitively wrong.
Yeah.
It should
It,
not be.
it
Yeah.
must want you to like hold it like this
Mm,
and do it that way, but then it's
yeah.
like
It
hard
it
to.
seems weird. I'd be keen to talk to someone behind, and if they were just like, yeah, I know, we really like the R and L for switching, and A was just
Weapons
kind
or
of there. Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway, yeah.
okay, so you
I switched
remapped
it
it to R. Okay, yeah,
for all of
um,
them.
yeah,
Yeah.
um, okay, sorry. PlayStation
Sure.
X4.
So yeah, get to X4 and so my memory was that we owned X5, but I think we just had like the music of X5 and I feel like did we own X cuz X4 felt way more familiar when I was going through it.
Really? Yeah,
X5 I was like what is this game? I don't remember any of this.
so I don't think we ever owned either. I
Just
do
borrowed it
remember.
from Mike and Nick probably.
I remember like I vividly remember renting X4, or maybe we bought it. Anyway, we played X4, and I remember being like, holy crap, X on the PlayStation, the music CD quality, like
Yep.
zero right from the start if you
Yeah.
wanted to.
Yep.
X5, I don't think we ever owned. I think we just had the music.
Yeah, that's what
uh, yeah,
I thought. I'm
and we
like, oh,
rented
when we
it.
get to X5, I'll remember it. And I got when I was going through X, I was like, I don't remember fucking any of this.
Yeah. Oh,
So it must have been X4 that we had a rented or borrowed,
mm.
or that was when that was familiar when I was playing it. I remembered a lot of the stuff I was seeing there. Um,
And the thing as well, like X Games and their opening stage
yeah,
is just like, oh,
it's
get
so
ready
good.
for a fucking the X4. It's a slightly different musical track depending on who you pick. Like it just like
Okay, I
this
didn't know that.
game is at 11 out of 10 right from the get-go. Anyway,
Sure.
sorry. Yeah.
Well, no. So, yeah, with X4, I did look up like boss order and item
Yep.
locations because I didn't. That's when I didn't remember any secrets or
Yeah.
anything. And I went zero. I went for the zero playthrough just because he's
Oh,
so
he's so
cool.
much fun.
He's
He's
so much
so
fun.
much fun. Um,
Um, so I did
what
all zero for that playthrough.
What who do you start with for boss order? Do you remember?
I wouldn't be able to tell you now, but
Ah,
I there was like the site I was using has like boss order, and then you pick who you're playing as. It'll give you
okay. Ah,
like
okay.
because it's I think it's slightly different between the two.
And I think in X4 with Zero, it's like all the stuff that you get are just like sword techs. Like
Yeah,
yeah.
I think there was like maybe one that used an actual like energy meter, but it was all
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
up and attack, jump down and
S-
attack,
I
jump and
love playing
attack.
Zero in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, went through X4. Definitely hard, especially I think it no, wait, the one you were talking about the quick man when that was X5, I think, right?
I can't remember. Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like it
But
was.
yeah.
But anyway, you know, definitely had to take a few breaks and like just okay, let me come back because
Yeah,
this I'm just not seeing the pattern on this boss or whatever, and
yeah.
just getting completely destroyed. Um,
Those
interesting.
old games like hit differently, like it's just like,
Yes.
man, these are hard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
even going from like the SNES era to the PlayStation era, like
Mm.
that definitely.
Still, yeah.
Yeah. I do think like X4 was like just like the peak 2D X. Like
Yeah.
because it was like the visual upgrade and video and audio upgrade from like the SNES era. And it it still like it so my problem when I get to X5 is I feel like they just started making it way too complicated.
Yeah,
Because there
yeah.
was like the Reploids you could rescue, and those would give you like different passive buffs you could equip on everything. And I
Yeah.
think did Mega Man X have two sets of armor in X4? I think he did. I think that started in X4, but
Maybe, yeah.
it might have only. I'd have to look it up again. I forget,
Yeah,
but
different armors, different parts. Yeah, yeah.
and it just felt like by X5 it literally just felt like okay like what do you want me to do now like it's just
Yeah.
like what why do I need all this like I don't know something about X5 I was just like feeling a little bit of the fatigue of that they were just trying to throw too much
Yeah.
at you and maybe because I was playing them all in a row but I do feel like it was like okay like I am looking just really quick. No, there was still only one set of armor in 4. So it's
Yeah.
X5 where it's like two separate. And then you need like one of the armors to get most of the other armor. So you're going back like a third and fourth time to these like stages. And I,
Yeah.
anyway, X4, it was still super hard, but I did it. And I think X4 had the boss that was like,
Oh,
um,
the black Mega Man
oh
2.
yes, yeah, that was
Yeah.
X4. That one was one I had to come back to.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like the Black Devil or something with like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Yellow Devil
Mm.
variant. Um, that one and I I forget what was the trick. Oh, when I realized you could crouch over there's like what was like five different heights that the things
Yeah.
would go. The bottom one you had to jump over, obviously, but
Yeah.
anything other than that you could
You could
just duck.
crouch.
And
Yeah, yeah.
once I figured that out, it made it way more doable because like okay, I only have to really react on one type of
Yeah.
thing coming in, and then I was able to do it, pretty easily. Well, not easily, but it took some practice. But that made it
Yeah.
way easier than I just felt like I was just banging my head against the wall. This fight's impossible. Like I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
I almost quit just on that, and then I'm just looking at the boss list again because they're kind of blending in my head. The Sigma where he's like a Reaper. Once you kind of learn his pattern there, you can get through
Yeah.
like that phase without taking a hit. And then I think the second one too was like pretty easy once you just I think you had to bait he had like a scythe and you just kind of
Yep.
had to bait where he would throw it to make it easier to
Yeah.
dodge and stuff.
Yeah, there's certain ones that are easier, yeah.
Yeah. And then it
Um,
just took a few tries at there's like the three different colored heads and the two
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
It was just a lot of shit. You're like, oh, you just once you realize like understand it's all pattern recognition, right? Like once you know, oh,
Yeah.
the red colored head will do this move, so I just gotta be on this side, and the
Yeah.
yellow one
No,
will
yeah,
shoot
now I remember that
these.
boss. Yeah. Yeah.
So it was just once I kind of got a feel for that stuff, that made it a lot easier. Um, so got through that. Definitely felt good about getting through that one. Like, because I almost certain I never beat this one
Mm,
before. I
yeah.
don't think I would have had the patience back then to see this game all the way through.
Yep.
I was considering doing like a zero playthrough and then an X playthrough, but like I'll move on to the next one. I might still go and do that for X4 because I would like to see how that game plays out as Mega Man instead of Zero.
Yeah.
Um, but then yeah, when I got to X5, there's like like I said, like the 2 sets of armor and you had to rescue these things to get these things. And I think 5 had the countdown. There's like so many
Yeah,
out,
that's right.
and it's just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I don't know. I was not having a great time, but about halfway through that game, and um, so I was like, I'm either gonna quit because it's like I
yeah,
can't, it's too hard and I'm not enjoying it,
yeah,
or they have like it's called like rookie hunter mode or something, and I'm
yeah,
like, I'll just turn that on so I can just see the game and like see it all
yeah.
the way through, at least to see the all the bosses at the end and stuff. Um, and there's that one fight that was like, I think it was from X1. It was like kind of like the multiple colored eyes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
The Wanga Banga or something like that.
sure,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
probably what it's called.
yeah.
And
The sides come in, the
yeah,
spikes come up. Yeah, yeah,
even on like the uh, hold on, I'm just looking to make sure that that was X5. I'm pretty sure it was because I didn't see it. Oh, the Shadow Devil was X5. Man, these are all blending together.
yeah,
So I don't think, okay, I think it was around this point because I definitely did that fight normally without this rookie mode turned on. I think it was when I got to that, it's called Ranga Banga.
yeah. Yeah,
I
there you
think when
go.
I got to that one, I was like, fuck that. Like, I'm turning it on so I can just beat this fucking game because I was
Yeah,
so
yeah.
tired. And I remember the
Um,
stages near the end and like those last couple the Sigma. It was, I'm looking at this picture of the Sigma then is like humanoid form.
yeah,
And that's where I turned it on. I was like, fuck this boss. I
yeah.
don't care. Let me just fucking get to the end. So
I
yeah,
remember
I did make it farther than I was remembering, but yeah.
going through all of the trophies and achievements and stuff. It definitely like made me appreciate the game. Like I totally agree. It's 5 and even more so maybe 6,
Yeah,
where it's just like
I didn't like 6 either.
saving Reploids and passive this and that, whatever. You're just like, it's too much. There's a countdown, like what's going on? And then
Yeah.
when you're just like, once you just kind of get it, that's like, oh, okay, now I enjoy this. I know the general vibe here.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it kind of grows on you. I'll say that.
For sure.
And then one of the achievements I think was like get through whatever Sigma stage, but with the like the black armor, the spike, the one where you
Oh,
can just
that's like
walk on spikes.
slow, but you can walk on spikes and stuff. Yeah.
And so the platforming is really tough because like there's no dash with that one or something, right?
Well,
Like
I know you can't slide on the wall. You just cling to it for
yeah, yeah.
one, and I think you're right. If there is a dash, it's way shorter and like a lot less useful.
And so I think it was like get to the end of the stage, like beat Ranga Banga with the black armor. And so just like getting to it was tough. But then you just like hang out on the
Oh,
wall.
that would be way easier. That
Spikes don't
fight.
hurt you. And just like, whatever, done.
Yeah, that would have been way easier. Yeah.
But getting to the
Getting
boss
to it
is
is
kind
the
of
hard part.
rage quit
Sure.
fuel. So anyway.
And I don't remember if it was X4 or X5, but it was like to get the chest armor upgrade, you had, it was one of the bike stages.
Oh
And you get
God.
the 5 like or 8 energy things.
Yeah,
And it's like that took me like an hour or probably closer to 2 hours of just retry.
Yep.
I was like, I know where they are. I know where they are. I just keep forgetting to do the jump at the right time or remembering where to dash. But if you can't dash too high, because then you get caught and you go off the screen and
vintage PlayStation Mega Man X. Like, because I think
and
there's one
both
of those
X4 and
5 and 6 or 4 and 5 or something.
4 and 5
yeah.
for sure have one of those stages. Like
One of them is like the water stage, and then one of them is
it's like
I
a
literally
junkyard looking.
I can hear the music stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's the first 5 seconds before you immediately die.
Oh God. Anyway, yep. Nope. When that's not even like trophy hunting. That's like just
Just
basic
getting the
armor
item
hunting.
upgrade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I was almost, because I was still playing as Zero. And I was almost like, I don't even fucking need this armor because I'm not playing as X. But I
yeah,
think because you needed to get the whole armor set before you could equip it, and I
yeah,
needed the spike walking one to get a couple heart tanks.
yeah. That's
So I
true.
was like,
That's
oh,
right.
well, I should do it to get all those at least. So, but yeah, that
Yeah.
almost broke me. That
Oh
was
man.
brutal.
No, that's pretty brutal. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, and then 6, I find the thing that's funny, the thing that I noticed about 4, 5, and 6 is you're just like you. It was not obvious in 1, 2, and 3 because hardware limitations, but it's like, oh no, this is a full-on Japanese anime
Oh, sure.
is what Mega Man X is.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh wow, like the dialogue is terrible. The
Yeah.
all the like the story is completely
I couldn't even
insane.
tell you what the story is, and I
And oh
just
yeah,
played them.
this is just insane Japanese anime is what this is. Like it is
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I never kind of put two and two together there, but
Nope.
like anyway, it's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. It definitely, they definitely tried to make it a more coherent narrative experience, but it's like, come on, man, just put me in the stage. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
give me
yeah.
the buster and let
Give
me
me
go
my X
shoot some
Buster.
things.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Make some interesting and clever names for your enemies,
Yeah.
and just let's just get this going here.
There's one
Um,
on what's his name is on X8. He's like the first one you're supposed to go to.
did you play 8 already?
I played a little bit.
Okay.
He's the panda one, and it's like
Yeah, Pandemonium, I think.
something pandemonium or something. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, their names are
Um,
hilarious.
I'll say 7. I think I hated until like the last like hour of playing it to get the trophy. I was just like, oh, this game isn't that bad actually. It's like I've been hating it for like 2 weeks.
Sure.
But they're like, but then you get to 8, and then you're like, oh yeah, fuck 7. Like, like,
So with 7, so okay, well, 6, first of all, I didn't get too far into 6 before I just turned that rookie mode on. I was like,
yeah,
I was just so annoyed by the extra stuff they were throwing on top, like what X5 did. So I'm like,
yeah,
I don't want. I'm either not gonna play it or I'm gonna play it with this mode just to see
yeah.
it through to the end or whatever.
Is the enemy obviously Sigma at the beginning of that of
I don't
6?
remember.
Yeah, anyway, whatever. Yeah.
It's all
Uh,
blending because I played them pretty close together.
yeah.
I
I mean,
don't think it's well.
yeah. Oh, because there's like the general and like the um
I
the
feel like,
Reploid army, like
and I feel like in 6, I'm gonna look it up really quick. I think he like takes over. It's like the Statue of Liberty or something.
yeah,
Or that
yeah.
might have been the X5. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think the Sigma virus is the antagonist from the beginning.
Yeah.
Just
Oh yeah, because there's all the like you have to save those Reploids before the like virus things get them or whatever all throughout the
mhm.
game and stuff.
Yeah. And then
Anyway.
I remember 7, it was like I can picture him. Like he's kind of like a robotic animal like kind of creature, red or something, the Red Army and then it's
Sure.
just at the end, it's like, oh, spoiler alert, it's just Sigma pulling the strings again. They're like, it's
Yeah,
always
we know.
Sigma. We know it's just always Sigma. Like, don't put some pawn in front of me and tell me it's the ultimate boss. It's just Sigma.
Yeah.
Um, but I remember that one was like the M. Night Shyamalan twist. Guess what? It's just Sigma. Yeah,
And
yeah,
all the
I saw
characters in the
that.
game are like, oh my
Oh
god.
yeah. Not Sigma. I thought we killed him 6 times before.
Yeah.
But
So
anyways, I
anyway, yeah.
7 was hard. Hard to get into. That was a classic. Like we're on PS2 now. We're gonna show off.
Everything's 3D now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was rough, and it's it's almost a parody of itself. Like
Sure.
Tornado Tunyon, an onion-based boss is I was
See,
like,
I didn't even get to the boss screen.
oh my God. It's pretty rough.
So I was playing it and I was like, I'll give it, I'm giving it a chance or whatever. And it just has the worst checkpoint system. I got
Oh
like
yeah.
pretty far in that intro stage and died. And it was just like title screen. I'm like, no. I was like, no. Put me back like to the beginning of this. Like, because you're like playing as, what's his name? Axel, I think, in the
Yeah.
beginning.
Yeah.
And then I think you switch to Mega Man
Yeah.
and then you switch to Zero.
Zero. Yeah.
And it's just like I was at the Zero part and I died. I'm like, oh, you want me to do that again? No. I'm just like, I'm good.
It's
Pass.
I remember like again, I hated every minute of it until like I finally started to click with it in the last like 10
Sure.
minutes of playing it. But Zero is really slow.
Yeah. He didn't feel
Every
super good.
every swing. Anyway, it's and that's a hard one. But I actually love 8. I
So
really love 8.
so I got to 8 and I played more of 8 than 7. But it's like because it definitely feels more like the older ones, just from
Yeah.
the way it controls. Um, but something I think I was just like so enamored still with like the sprite art that it
Yeah.
just wasn't super clicking for me yet. So
Yeah.
what I did is I'm putting 7 is like an indefinite hold. I don't know if I'll go back to 7. Maybe I'll play it with the rookie mode on just so I can see it.
Yeah.
Just to like blaze through it and just see the game because I've never played that one. Um, and then I will give 8 a more honest try, but I was dying so much. I didn't even get to that first boss,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
panda
Yeah.
one, and I was like trying to follow a guide to like get the items, and like I think I got the secret item in the first stage, but I was just like I was dying a lot, and I was like I'll come back because I definitely was missing the sprite like
Yeah.
sort of style. So
Yeah.
what I did is excuse me, and I don't know how long I'll have to like go. I don't think I'll get through these, but I have the Mega Man Zero collection as well. I bought that at one point, which was like
What's that?
it's like it was on Game Boy Advance and then Nintendo DS.
Oh, okay, cool.
And it's like you're playing as Zero, but it's like hundreds of years in the future, and he doesn't know who he is, and all this stuff. Anyway,
Hmm.
I'm barely following the story. It definitely is trying to tell a story more because it's like it's less boss screen. Pick your boss, go to that stage. It's more like you go back to base, get a mission, and
Hmm.
it's like a little more narrative connective tissue that way.
Okay, cool.
Um, and I remember I played. I feel like I played almost through the entire first one before, but I'm just started fresh and I'm going through it again. And the reason I say I don't know if I'll have time because in this one collection there's like 8 games because
Oh
there's like
man.
4 on GBA and 4 on DS. So I was like, I don't think I'll get all of them, but it's like the pixel art style, and it does look. It's got a definitely its own unique visual identity because it's like Zero. It's like Zero has like a pistol. It's not like a Buster, but he
Yeah,
does
yeah.
find his sword and he starts using that, and like those level up the more you use them, I believe, because I definitely noticed
Cool.
like I got like a couple extra moves or whatever, and you can equip like an elemental chip when you go out on a mission. So like I don't know if it's both your attacks. I think it's both your shots and your sword will do that elemental damage. So it's like it's a weakness thing, but it's just it's just another element of that. Um, but I definitely it feels just like the X like 1 through 6 in terms of just movement and fluidity and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I just I wasn't digging the 3D visuals on 7 and 8, so I'm like, I want more of the pixel art. So I'm gonna go through
Yeah.
some of these Zero games, and I don't think they're super long, so I'm gonna try to get through a couple of those. But I will give 8 a more honest effort again because I know you spoke pretty highly of it, and
Yeah, yeah.
I did find it felt way better. I was just
Oh
bad at
yeah.
it. I was just bad at that level, and I kept dying. I was like, I was
I
just
think
like, I need a break from this.
Yeah, no, and I think it's certainly like they learned their lesson with 7 of like, okay,
Yeah, you could.
people don't want a full 3D
Yeah,
game. So it's pretty much back to 2D with a few 3D
kind of like turning a corner, but it's still controlling like fully just left and right.
yeah,
You know.
it's
So,
almost like just 3D gimmicks once in a while.
yeah.
Yeah. But the music in 8 is so good.
Yeah,
The
I did like. I did actually. Even the only I've only seen like the two stages. Like I did notice like the music felt good, and I do like how all three of the characters control. Like they feel pretty
yeah,
unique.
yeah,
Um, and so I like the variety, and I like that you can bring two of them in. And
yeah.
you took me a while to understand what it was trying to teach me to do, like the double attack, where you have
Hmm,
to
hmm.
like initiate it close to the enemy to like sort of
Yeah.
trap them in it or whatever.
I
And
that took me a while to figure out.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
once I did, that was pretty cool. So I will for sure give 8, and I might even like boot it up again and play a little bit and then go back to 0. But yeah, I was. I think the main thing was sticking for me. I was like, I just love the sprite art so much that,
Yeah.
and I've never played any of the
The,
0
the
games other
zero
than the
ones.
first one.
Yeah.
So I want to give those, and they work with the SNES controller because the GBA only had A and B,
Button mapping.
and
Yeah,
and
yeah,
L and R, so it works for the button mapping for that. Um, so
yeah.
anyway, yeah, so that's kind of where I am on my Mega Man X sort of
Oh,
journey thus
I
far.
love those games. I like I mentioned, I've got there's a Spotify playlist of Mega Man 1 through X, or sorry, 1 through 8 that I routinely listen to because it's
Sure.
essentially a full workday's worth of music.
Yeah.
And so I'll do that frequently. And yeah, 8 music is really good. The Optic Sunflower level specifically is, oh man, it's like super kind of futuristic-y, and then it's kind of like oh, in X2 where like you go for a little bit, you teleport to like a little module, and then you teleport back to the main level. Like
I remember
uh
that level, but I don't remember whose it was.
Centipede or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, it's like super kind of futuristic-y and calm, and then you go to like a little mini game almost, and then the music just like banger. And then depending on how well you do in that stage, you go to like the next level of difficulty for the next one.
Sure.
And anyway, the music change is just like do 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 do, full on Mega Man X banger. And I just love it. And
Sure.
that's the one where like you need to get top rank the whole way
Oh,
through
that's what you were talking about before. Right.
to get, and then you fight uh like Bubble Man in like full 8-bit sprite mode or something, which is pretty cool.
Okay,
Or
I'll definitely boot 8 up again still. Like I won't
yeah,
drop that completely. I'll
it's a good
weave
one.
between that and the 0 games. Cuz I did like it felt so much better. Like it definitely
Yeah.
felt way better than 7. 7 just felt way too floaty and
Yeah,
just
it's
didn't feel good to play.
that was completionist
Yeah,
driven. That
for
I
sure.
would have done the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I rage quit on that game a lot. Especially the last boss is, it's like gigantic Sigma, and you're platforming in order to like Mario 64 type like platforming around to, oh, it's a nightmare. It's a total
Yeah.
nightmare.
So I'll probably
Um
pass on that one. Um,
anyway,
but I can see myself when I get like the itch to like play Mega Man X again.
yeah.
1 through 4, I think will be my new like,
Okay.
because I would just do it. I would just do like 1, 2, and maybe 3 when I would want to like play them again. But I think
Yeah.
I really enjoyed, especially after playing the later ones. I was like, okay, X4 is where it stopped being super good for me. So it's
Yeah.
like what when I play them again, and I think I'll go back and do X4 as Mega Man. Um,
It's fun.
just
I
to
like
play
them.
through it that way. X4 was great.
However, the opening cinematic for X5 and that
That
music,
music,
well,
yeah, I
yeah,
definitely let that play.
yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
Um,
I remember that
oh,
song vividly.
yeah, oh yeah. And then, oh shit, there's something else. Yeah, that opening track. Uh, oh, there's something else. I'll remember it later. But
Sure.
anyways, just all those games really, really fun. And
Yeah.
4, definitely music upgrade too. And yeah, that's a fun game.
It's such like an embarrassment of riches right now because like with those legacy collections and stuff, and Capcom does these collections very well. Um, I bought them all on sale. I didn't buy any of them at full price, and they probably got each of them for like 15 to 20 bucks. And I have so on my Steam, I have like the regular Legacy Collection 1 and 2, so Mega Man 1 through 10, and
Yeah.
then both X collections, so X1 through 8, and then 8 of these Mega Man 0 games.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, at any point, I could just like boot up any of those and play them, and they're so fucking good, all of them. Like,
Oh,
I mean, most of them anyway. At least the legacy ones, I could play any of those. And I almost did that when I was like, I want to go through the Mega Man games, and I started playing like I was like, well, I'm not playing Mega Man 1 because that game fucking sucks. I'll
yeah.
start with 2, and I was like immediately like, this game's too hard. I'm just gonna go to the X games. I was like, I don't want to
Yeah.
go through all the 8-bit ones again. I do want to go back and play at least 3.
Oh, I love 3. Yeah.
And then 9 and 10 are so those are the ones they did like way later, but
On the Wii or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
those are excellent.
I do. I think again, we're 1 year around or one cycle around the sun of this podcast now,
Yeah,
but we're gonna bound to repeat things.
for
But
sure.
Mega Man 3 to me is like the definitive NES version. And I know 2 is like the universally loved
Man,
one,
I would
but
say it's probably like 50-50. I
really, yeah,
truly think if you like surveyed like 1,000 people like in our age range that grew up with those games, I
yeah.
genuinely think it'd be 50-50.
Okay, well, good to
Because
hear.
they're both
I
so good.
and like 2 was I feel like we didn't even know about 2 until after 3. I feel
Yeah,
like
we definitely
yeah,
got 3 first, whether
yeah,
that was at a yard sale or if it was one of those
part of the
collection of
box.
games. Yeah.
Yeah. But like Snake Man, Mega Man 3, that's just like that's childhood in a
Yeah.
1 minute loop music
For
track.
me, it's the Top Man theme because he's always the
Yeah.
first one. Like he's always the one you go to first. So
Yeah.
it's like as soon as you boot up Mega Man 3, like that's the first song you're gonna hear when you pick a boss is Top Man's theme.
Yeah.
Um, I watched this. There's one YouTube channel where this person goes through and does damageless runs of
God.
like he's done Mega Man like 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they take like years to do because
Oh
he
wow.
does them like in one go. So if he takes hit, like he'll like do save states to like maybe practice a part, but it's
Yeah.
like start to finish, like no save state, like start the game, finish the game without taking a hit,
That's
and it's
bonkers.
insane. uh, so I was watching those when I've been going through this Mega Man like kick that I'm on.
There's so much stuff of and not just like Brental Floss, but like Dwayne and Brando of like
Oh yeah, yeah.
lyrics to
That Dwayne and Brando
old
one of
hits.
Mega Man, is it specifically Mega Man 2 or does it just is it I don't remember if that song is specifically Mega Man 2. I think it is. But either
Yes,
way,
yeah.
that song is so good. I love it.
I boot that up probably like once every couple of weeks.
I
Like
think
I
it's on
love that.
Spotify because it once in a while will pop in my rotation.
Yeah, that and the Castlevania ones are really good too.
Yeah.
Anyways, Dwayne and Brando, I love that. All the lyrics to old NES games,
Yeah.
I've got a pretty good well of stuff there. So yeah.
Yeah. It's so good.
Um,
So anyway, so that's where I am on my Mega Man X revisit. I'm gonna work through some of the Zero games. I won't get through all 8 of them, but I'm enjoying the first one a lot, especially with the Super Nintendo controller.
yeah.
So I'm gonna work through those. I'll try 8 again. I'll try to get past that first fucking stage. And there's seems some more of the boss because they're always so much harder at the beginning when you have no upgrades and no nothing. And
Oh
I
yeah, yeah,
know
yeah.
it's like snowballs a little bit, right? Once you start getting some of that stuff. So I do want to play more of it.
Um, I remember too. I think it's X5, like Sigma Stage 3 or something, where you're just like, oh, okay, start this, and like it's like a disco ball, like, and the music is just like, beep, 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 and you're just like, holy crap, what is even happening here?
I
It's
can't
like
remember which one that was.
techno music, like dialed to 11. The background is just like matrix computer code kind
Oh
of thing.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that stage. Yeah,
And you're just like, whoa, it's start of the stage. Like, okay, like Jesus Christ, like what the hell? Anyways, I remember that being like, this game like does not stop.
yeah,
But anyway, yeah, I
yeah.
love. Um, I'm glad we could talk a little bit about the two
Ah,
collections there, because I love all those games.
yeah, I love Mega Man. So anyway, yeah, I'll let you know if I end up making more progress on 8. I'll bring it up again.
Yeah,
And I'll see. I'm sure I could at least finish probably the first 2 of the Mega Man Zero games. But yeah, they're really fun so far. So I'll
yeah.
work on
Oh,
those.
good. Yeah, and
Um,
eight definitely did take me some time to warm up to. I remember, I think the Pandemonium one was the boss order I started with, and got to that boss like dying. I'm like, Jesus Christ! Like I've been through 7 Mega Man X games and I can't beat the
the
first
first
boss here.
boss, yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, then you just need to like figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which I just
yeah,
hadn't had enough time to do yet. And maybe I was still just a little bitter about because I literally stopped X7. I was like, fuck this game.
yeah,
I'm starting 8, and I just immediately
yeah.
started playing it. So maybe if I'm away from it for a day or two, I'll come back to it and it'll feel better. So
But
but anyway, yeah. So that's what I've been doing with those. Really fun nostalgia trip for all, especially the SNES ones. And I genuinely, in my mind, I always regarded as like, and again, nostalgia playing a factor, but that the SNES, like SNES ones, I'm like, well, those are just better than the 4, 5, and 6. Like they're just better games. And
yeah,
I'm glad that I replayed 4 to be like, oh, this game
it's
is
good.
very good. Like even
Yeah.
though it's a little, it's a generational leap in the console,
Mm.
so it's gonna feel and play different. But I felt like it was a very easy, like incremental step. Like it's like, oh, it just
Yeah.
looks better, cooler moves, cooler, you know, uh, cooler powers, plays
Yeah.
zero, but it still felt like classic, like Mega Man
Same
X.
platforming. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's when they started throwing all that extra stuff in 5 and 6. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
sure,
Yeah.
I'll play, I'll jump through your hoops, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
So anyway, um, yeah. So that's my Mega Man X talk. Like I said, I'll update you if I get through more of 8. But really enjoyed going through the first, at least the first 4. Was nostalgia overload. Um, so one thing I'll just talk about quickly, and then maybe we'll take a break before we get into the Resident Evil and Zelda talk. So I feel like I texted you about this game like years ago because it's been in development for like 7 or 8 years or something, just off and on.
Mm.
This Granblue Fantasy Relink is what it's called. Granblue Fantasy is like, I believe it's a property that started as like a mobile game, like it's like a franchise that I, at least the earliest one I know of it, is like some mobile game or whatever. And then they've
Okay.
been branching out. They made like a fighting game, and there's like a couple side games that they've made, but this one is like a full on, like high budget, like third person action game. And when it was originally being developed, they were partnered with Platinum Games.
Oh, wow.
And Platinum Games at one point like left and started going to work on their own stuff. But like the the DNA of their influence, whatever they did to help them like figure out the combat system in the beginning, is
Yeah.
very clear.
Okay.
It's like you can, if they didn't, if they like, even if they scrapped the whole system and started over, they would have used blueprints that Platinum gave them because it
Yeah,
feels 100% like one of their games.
Platinum. Okay, yeah.
And so the demo came out, I think it was Friday. And what's crazy is like, there's like, I feel like 13 or 14, maybe more playable characters. And you can play as any of them, whoever's in like the lead slot in your party. And they
Yeah.
all have like elemental affinities. So depending on, the mission you're going on or whatever, like the boss of that you're going to kill, you could build a team that is more
Yep.
towards their elemental weakness or whatever. And um it is like how do I put it? It definitely made me think of like Near, made me think of like somewhat like Bayonetta in terms of just like how absolutely insane like what is happening on screen.
Yeah.
And it's like it's complex enough that it's like so each character the more aggressive you play, it fills up like kind of like a stun gauge. Or I forget, it's not called that, but I forget what it's called. I think it might be stun, but when that fills up, you can do something called like a link attack. And if you have enough like link points or percentage, then it slows everything down and you get it like a bunch of different buffs for a few seconds if you do a link attack when you're at 100%. And then every character has what I was just kept calling it a limit break, but I know it's called something else. They have a gauge
Yeah.
that fills up. They can do like a big move, and if you wait until everyone is about full, and like so, like you do your special move, and then your AI companions will like if theirs is charged, they'll do each of
They'll do
theirs in
it.
sequence, and if at least two of them do it, you'll get like sort of like a double. It'll be like a third attack that just happens that's an effect based on who the two people went are, and it just does its
Okay.
own extra like explosion of some element or something. But if you all four of them do it, it's just like this big crazy extra attack at the end. And it's very like anime-esque where it's like everyone's shouting the names of their moves as every time they're doing them. And then like when you get those four moves, it does like a very cinematic like view of each of the four persons individual moves. And then it's like it shows like all four of their like just sort of like 2D portraits kind of come up on the screen. So it's like but all is one. And then it's like it's just like it's so cool. Like it feels very good to pull off. And it's no joke. Like so in the demo there's like a tutorial mode which teaches you like the basics. Then there's like one mission that is just cut out of the story that you can just play, and it's like a 20-minute mission or whatever with a couple fights and a boss fight at the end or whatever. And then there's like three just you're like in a hub town and you like open like a quest counter, and it's very much like the way Monster Hunter works in a way, but you can like pick one of your targets for like this boss encounter, and then pick what team members you want to bring in, and they have something akin to like materia slots where you can give them passive buffs or whatever, and then you just go fight those bosses, and there's three of them, and they're like like you don't just get one of those big 4-person specials and the boss is dead. It's like it definitely got like sort of phases, and the bosses can go into like an enraged mode. If you like last second dodge before you take a hit, you get like a greater invincibility period, and it makes a really like satisfying sound when you get that.
Nice.
And it's like I was telling my friend, my buddy Yura, that he would always text me when he was playing 16, and every time he would get a parry in that, I don't know if you've seen like it's like the gif of like Shaq. I think it was on Hot Ones, and he just makes like a like he just makes a face like that. And it's like years he said like every time he got a parry in 16, that's the face he was making. And then like I sent him when I was playing this demo, it was like every time I get that invincibility dodge, I'm just like, ooh. Like, ooh, that felt good. So anyway, it just feels really good to play. And I was like, I was only using one character, like, and I was having a blast. I'm like, I didn't even try controlling any of the like 12 other characters there are,
Yeah,
because they
yeah.
all have different playstyles. So there's a lot of variety there. Um, and music, I know Nobuo Uematsu worked on the fighting game variant of this series. I'm pretty sure he worked on music in this. I have to look that up to like fact check
Oh,
myself,
cool.
but I wouldn't be surprised based off what I heard because the music was very good.
Oh, nice.
And just like it's kind of, it definitely has like the anime aesthetic, but it's almost like a cell shaded sort of look to it as well. I
Yeah.
I really like the way their art style is. Like I never played their mobile game, but I've tried the fighting game and stuff because I really like their visuals. And yeah, that demo, I played it for like a couple of hours Friday night, just like trying the boss because you get kind of like I think 16 does this in like the arcade mode, but you can get like scored on
Yeah,
how
yeah,
well you
yeah.
do, and you get in this you get like a letter rank like up to like S plus or something like that. And I
Yeah.
just like kept trying to like
Get that
get
S.
a little
Yeah.
bit better score and stuff. And anyway, yeah, that game is hella fun, and the demo's out on like PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4, I think. But for sure, I would give the demo a shot just to like
Cool.
because I know you like Platinum Combat.
Yeah,
And
definitely. Yeah,
it
yeah.
definitely has that feel for sure. Yeah, so I think that game comes out, like I said, it's like it's right after Tekken. So between Tekken and this, that will like keep me very distracted while we wait for Rebirth to come out. So,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
think they said it'll be like about a 30 to 40 hour game. So like I could probably finish that, at least get to credits before Rebirth comes out, and then I might come back around to like do extra stuff after.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it was super fun, and I've been following it for a while, and I was like, everything I saw of it, I was like, yes, this looks fantastic. Please
Yeah.
tell us when it's coming out. And
Yeah, yeah,
up
yeah.
until like last year, they still did not have any date at all for it, and just like so always
Give me
worried that
information.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I think it was like summer or something that they finally gave the date of like January 29th or whatever it is.
Hmm.
So just like a game that's been a long time coming and a lot of big names behind it. It's got that platinum feel because they did work with platinum in the beginning. And I'm gonna fact check them when we take our break, but I think Uematsu did at least some of the music in it. But even if he didn't, the music is definitely
It's tight. Yeah.
impressive. Yeah.
Nice. Cool.
So yeah,
That's awesome.
that's did that and Mega Man X pretty mostly this weekend is what I was doing.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, yeah, let's take a quick break and then I'll tell you what
Yeah.
I've been doing nonstop for the past couple of days.
Yes. We will talk about the big purchase you made when you went back from Christmas break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn you. Yeah. The Nintendo sleeper cell.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But
Okay. Yeah,
okay,
we'll
cool.
take a quick break and then yeah, we'll talk about some Resident Evil 4 first because I do want to dig into that a little
Yeah.
bit, but then we'll
Yeah.
talk about what you did.
Yeah. What you did. Sounds good. Okay, see you in a
Okay.
minute.
Yeah. Hey everybody, welcome back. So I did fact check myself on that break, and there's two composers for the Granblue Fantasy Relink, and Uematsu is one of them.
Oh, nice.
The other
Perfect.
one I'm not super familiar with. Did I already close it? No. Oh god, Tsuotomu Narita.
Okay.
I don't know what he's worked on off the top of my head, but it's him and Nobu Uematsu composing for that game. So if
Nice.
nothing else, it will have a excellent soundtrack for sure. And from what I heard already, it's very good so far.
Platinum Games, Umatsu on soundtrack. Hey,
I,
pretty good recipe so far.
so when I said I like texted you about that game like years ago, I'm pretty sure like that's what I said. I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah,
hey, you
yeah.
should keep an eye on this game. Platinum Games like helped develop it and new Uematsu soundtrack. I think like
Yep.
that was about what I texted you.
If you're looking to get my attention, those are two good, easy
Yeah.
ways to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we mentioned a little bit at the beginning. So yeah, you got really close to the end of RE4 before you came up for the holidays.
Correct. Yep.
And I think you were at the island is what we
Yep.
established.
And
And then you finished that like
I
right
was
when you
like,
got home.
I got like real dialed in days before flying out to New Brunswick. And
Right.
it was just like I was in like the zone, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay, the combat's clicking, like my item management and like I know what I like to upgrade with
Yeah. The
the
merchant.
merchant or whatever. Like it's like I know my style, my build, and all that. Like it's clicking. I get to a boss and it's like, okay, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I really want to try and beat this before I go home, especially with Game of the Year podcast. But and like we had an early train ride and I was playing that morning. Like I woke up early to try and grind. Like I think I'm so close.
Sure.
But didn't quite get there. And I had incorrectly assumed like, oh, can I just like play it at Garrett's place? But I have it on PS5, and you did it on PC, so
Yeah.
that was a no-go. But then I got home after New Year's and like one or two sittings
Got to the end.
beat it. So yeah, I was like well into the island before I had to give it like a
Okay.
hiatus. Yeah. Yeah.
So I know I talked about it a little bit, back in like March when it came out.
Yeah.
But so the first one of my first memories of that game, and also the demo that put you in this
Yeah.
spot. It literally put you right at the beginning of the game, the demo, and got
Yeah.
you to that first village encounter until the bell
Yeah.
rings.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's where the demo ended. And it's
Yeah.
like that game took like no time turning up
Oh man.
the insanity factor of like
No.
how like the feeling of like the villagers just like barreling down on you at all times during one of those
Yeah.
encounters is insane. It's
Oh.
like borderline claustrophobic, but not in a way that's like uncomfortable. Like it like pushes you forward. Like I think of RE2 and like that is like hard to play for long sessions because I'm just like
Oh, scared out of my
scared
yeah,
and the
yeah.
anxiety is like on a whole other level. But
Mm.
like this does a similar thing of just making you feel like I said, like they're
Overwhelmed.
just overwhelmed
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But it's like it's not in a scary way. It's just like you have to be firing on all cylinders and like using all of your tools and your toolkit and knowing when to just like save bullets and just shoot them in the leg and then suplex them or or
Yeah.
roundhouse kick them. And yeah, it feels like when you get to the end of an encounter, like one that's like that where you just have to stay and fight for a few minutes or whatever,
Yeah.
it's like if someone's watching you, it would look like you just know exactly what you're doing and everything, but really you're just like fuck.
Yeah.
It's like the whole time, like panicking, like what do I still have ammo for? Like switching through your guns, like the internal monologue is a lot more chaotic than but that's a sign of like good game design or gameplay design for me is like that's what's going on in your head, but it's like it feels good to execute even if you're very panicky. Like I don't know, like the tools are so well constructed for you to use, even if you're doing it haphazardly because you're panicking, it just still makes the game feel like you look less like a dumb video character not knowing what they're doing because of how well everything's integrated. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what it feels like when you watch an encounter like that. That looked like Leon knew what he was doing, even though I didn't, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. I'd say like part of the reason why I didn't that this fell lower on my list was because that demo I found so overwhelmingly hard.
Sure.
I was just
on
like,
your list of like games to get to.
yeah, exactly. Like because it's like, oh, demo, okay, RE4, loved RE2, and I RE3, I just kind of didn't play too much, but it was like, okay, I can play this demo, and I was like, this is hard. I can't even get through the demo. Like it's like this chainsaw guy. Like I was just like, I don't understand this game.
Yeah.
Because it like two is strategic, save your bullets,
Yeah.
zombies are scaring the crap out of you, and it's puzzles, and this was like, this is an action game. What the hell?
Yeah.
And I was like, I did not have the nostalgia factor that I think a
Right.
lot of people had. Like I had never played RE4,
Right.
period. I didn't even know what the story was. So I was like, I'll play this eventually, and then picked it up, and so I died several times just at that first level. Like,
Yeah.
okay, what am I doing wrong? Like, I think what I got to do is just like screw saving ammo, because I get like low key anxiety of like running out of ammo
Yeah.
in some of these games.
Yeah.
They're like, look, just shoot and kick and suplex and like whatever. Like, you'll figure it out. And like, a lot of people drop ammo, and
Yeah, it's not as scarce in this game as RE2.
it's not as stingy as RE2, and I think that's what I was remembering. Like, you
Yeah.
pick up like an 8 pack of bullets like every hour. Like
Yeah.
this is like, okay, no, there's you break open a crate and there's all the time, I was like, okay,
Craft
this
your own ammo, and yeah, there's
yeah.
lots of ways to refill.
So I was like, this is a different game in a lot of ways. So
Yeah.
but once I kind of got into that, but oh sweet, this guy is staggered and he's around like 5 people.
Yeah.
I'm gonna roundhouse kick all of them.
Yeah.
And it's like, and this is going to buy me a few seconds
Yeah.
to check if my shotgun has any ammo in it or not. Yeah. So yeah, once I kind of got into it, then it was, and I loved the part where I don't know if it's like still technically the village or whatever, but where you get in a boat and you kind of go all around the lake, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this almost feels RPG like.
Yeah.
And
That was a big, that was not in our OG4, the amount of like
oh, really?
exploration.
Huh.
I don't even know if there was any real exploration in that part of the game. Definitely not to that degree. That was a lot of like just going around and like scavenging everything you can now that most of the places are cleared out. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that part was very fun. I
Yeah.
remember just like really being, I think that's about where I got like the first night I played it. I
Yeah.
got
Oh,
about
okay.
that far, and I was just like, it was hard to put down because that was really
Um,
engaging.
but yeah, like loved, and I didn't quite, because I try to go headshots all the time.
Yeah.
And so it was a lot of roundhouse kicks for me. But then it was like,
Yeah.
oh, if I shoot them in the leg, I can like get around them and suplex them. So then I was like, oh, wish I'd been 80% of the game and not really having done much of that. I was like, oh, I should have been suplexing this whole time.
Yeah.
But anyway, I really like the combat. I love upgrading a
Oh yeah.
weapon. Um,
That's feels so
parry.
good.
I use my knife a lot, actually.
When I went through like a subsequent playthrough, like not just the new game plus, but like at some point I like just started a fresh playthrough, and I didn't get all
Yeah,
the way through the game, but I just did a little bit of it. It's like
yeah.
knife durability was like the first thing I maxed out. I was
Oh
like,
yeah,
I need
yeah.
this knife so bad at all times.
That's always like, it'd be like, okay, upgrade knife, upgrade something else, upgrade knife,
Yeah.
upgrade something else. Like I was
Yeah.
just like, just always on the knife.
Yeah.
Um, but love parrying, love just like, and they're staggered and just like holding the aim button, like not just swiping, but like aim and just like stab, 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 stab in the
Yeah.
face. Um, and anyway, and then like when you get Ashley, like you're like, oh, okay, I need to protect this girl, like it's my life here.
Yeah.
Like
She's so much better. She was so annoying in the original game.
oh man,
Oh
no,
god.
she was awesome.
Yeah, I loved this version of Ashley. They did a really good job.
Love Ada, always loved Ada.
Yep.
She's super badass.
Yep.
I'd say like, I don't know. My only criticism is like the story was kind of meh. Like it's like
Sure.
virus, like I was just kind of like, I don't care. Just wait, can I suplex someone else again here? Like I didn't quite believe I was like, we're the zombies. Like, yeah, they're not zombies, but the story, I was kind of like, whatever.
So, so that was a thing that was really jarring for people in OG4 because it
Mm,
story was very similar. Like it's this
yeah,
lost plagas or whatever. I will
yeah,
say if you like read into the lore a little more, it actually
yeah.
gets super interesting, and
Oh,
it's
okay.
like to the point where like the Mendez, the big guy in the trench coat that like
Yeah,
follows you around, he was like the village chief or something, and their like crops were dying or something, and they were gonna be going into like a really bad like period of famine because
yeah,
of people were getting sick or things like that, and people weren't able to produce the food they normally produce or something. And this like I think it was Sadler came in and like offered to take care of them, but in doing so he like infected them because he just wanted to have like a cult essentially where he could mind control everyone.
yeah, yeah,
Anyway, if you read into the actual like, and it's like there are documents in the game that tell a lot of this, but then I watched also like some YouTube creators that I watch a lot of like talk about the story because like
yeah,
I don't pick up on the story in an RE game when I'm playing through it that well.
yeah.
But
Same.
the more since the remake, like remake 2,
Yeah,
they are trying to connect the stories a lot in a much more like coherent way. So I'm
yeah,
trying to pay it a little more attention because I know they're actually like trying to craft an interesting story. It's just I
yeah,
won't download that when I'm playing the game the first time. I need to have
yeah,
someone tell me what the story is after I've played it so that now I understand sort of the more context. And I would
yeah,
recommend looking at some of that because I felt the same way. Like I wasn't as jarred by them not being zombies because I knew OG4 didn't have, and I
yeah.
do feel like these enemies are way better as a like mechanic than regular zombies because they're coming at you with pitchforks and
Oh, yeah, yeah,
throwing
yeah, yeah,
hatchets at you, and it's so it's like mechanically from a gameplay perspective, I like these enemies way more
yeah,
because it adds to that kind of tense feeling of just like there could like you could be fighting off 3 or 4 people and there's just a guy like running at you at full speed with a pitchfork coming behind you that you have to listen
yeah,
for it.
yeah,
But anyway, yeah, definitely from a gameplay perspective, like the parrying too, good god, when you like get the timing for that a little bit and then you get some of those like quick time like dodges where he'll just
yeah.
like do a backflip to like that. Like, okay,
Oh,
Leon,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
whatever, man. You gotta show off a
That
little
was
bit.
very satisfying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember just like, and like you said, it was much more conducive to an action-based kind of
Yeah.
parrying gameplay. But I remember always just like, so does Umbrella have anything to do with this? Like, it's like, what's
Yeah.
going on? And I think my buddy Robbie is like, Resident Evil is his FF7,
Sure.
kind of thing. And he's like, oh, of course, it's, so and so involved. Like, I just don't know the lore enough.
Yeah.
But
It's you gotta dig deep for the
yeah,
connections and in some of these later ones. Yeah.
but I loved, oh man, his name escapes me. The Umbrella X lab like guy,
Oh, Luis,
Luis.
Luis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So him being ex Umbrella, that's new. That wasn't in OG.
Oh,
From
was he in it at all,
he
or?
was,
Hmm,
but I don't think you really knew much about his backstory at all in the OG.
okay.
But that
Yeah.
was one connection they made in this one was to make him like a lab researcher or whatever
Yeah,
he
yeah.
was. Yeah.
But he was really cool. And like, despite the fact that I died like 10 times, I loved like, you're in I don't know, some sort of building trying to keep the villagers from coming
Oh
in.
yeah.
I died so many times. But it's again, just like, what's the strategy here? Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna board up this window this time and try to, and
Yeah.
then big big super like
Those bowl
a bull guy, and
guys.
then
Yeah, yeah.
I'm upstairs. They're coming in the windows, and I'm in the stairwell. Like I don't know what to do. So it was very satisfying to beat those.
If
The
you listen to the
cinematic.
music during those segments too, it is unhinged.
Oh
It's
God, it's
so intense.
so stressful.
Yeah.
And so just like, God damn it, what am I doing wrong? But anyway, really satisfying to do. I really liked when you'd finish and like the chapter
Yeah.
like complete. That was just like such a satisfying, eerie, like, okay,
Take a
another
breather.
chapter done. Yeah. I
Yeah.
kind of liked that natural storytelling mechanism. Yeah, Ashley
Yeah.
was awesome. Ada, Luis. Um, I laughed a lot at the when you kind of get saved by dude in the helicopter. Like just his dialogue was pretty funny.
Yeah. I remember laughing at it too, but I forget some of the stuff he says. But it's just very like cowboy,
Oh, yeah,
like
I was just
coming
about to say
in the
cowboy.
cavalry,
And then like he just dies. They're like, okay, I guess that confidence was a little misplaced.
Yeah.
Um, the other like thing I'll say as well, I loved like, ooh, this guy's trying to throw dynamite at me. Nice try.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. And then like, nope, nice try again. And then they drop it. And then
um,
blow up everything around them.
you can also just shoot it in their hand, and
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it'll
yeah.
just like immediately explode, which is equally satisfying. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, that was really good. I really liked a lot of times if I was being a little bit overwhelmed, like I'd climb up a ladder and just like, you can keep coming and like so they fall down and like keep them coming. I can do this all day. Or let them get up, shoot them in the leg, and like kick them or suplex them
Kick them
off the
off.
ledge or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There
Knock a
was
bunch of them down.
one part that was mostly the same from OG4 that was one of those really tense moments was when you had to like protect Ashley when she's like had to like turn those levers and she had to like you were like in
Oh
the
yeah,
cast
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
she
That
had
was
like two or
scary.
three of them to
Yeah.
go get and you were just down on the ground and like trying to snipe them off of her and like yeah that part was like very intense but like so satisfying when just when you do it well or you just get a
Yeah.
clean shot like just in time to save her or whatever like god that part's so cool.
Um, like that game, I think I mentioned this maybe on our in-person one, but like there's so many games where you're just like, if I, for some stupid reason, was ever put in the shoes of this protagonist in
Right.
real life, I wouldn't get 2 seconds into this
Yeah.
before dying instantly or
Yeah.
like crying myself to death. And like this game was like, no, I would get 1 foot into this game and go, nope, nope, can't do this.
I wouldn't have left the car to go
No.
search for that other cop. I
Yeah.
would like, well, he's dead. Let's go.
Yeah, no, exactly. I was like, this game is just like, in no way would I ever have the
Yeah.
courage to do anything, let alone Leon ice water going through his veins, Kennedy.
Yeah.
Guy just like,
uh, one of the
whatever.
best one of the best sequences, and it's such a good like development from RE2 Leon, like remake,
Mm,
because he's a rookie in that game, right? So he's very
yeah,
wide-eyed and like, you
yeah,
know, wants to believe people are like will do the right thing or whatever. And this is like, what is it, like 7 years later or something,
yeah,
in the story, and he's like, went through super intense like government undercover like
yeah.
special agent training or whatever. So he's like way more intense than like and like gives no fucks about a
Oh,
lot of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And it's that scene when you first meet Luis. Well, you find him in the bag and then you get knocked
Hmm.
out and then you're like chained to him.
Yeah.
Um, it had such like a Jack Bauer vibe where
Yeah,
like when he was like kind of like pseudo interrogating him and was like yanking on the chain to like pull him up like in an uncomfortable spot and then like
yeah,
wrapped it around that one villager's head and did like that kind of like went up on his knee and like just like cracked the like just to like twist the
yeah.
chain. It just like he just did that and it's like and he's like done. He like just takes off and he's like, I'm out of here. And it's just like,
It,
God, Leon, you're so hot.
yeah. It's just
It's
like,
just like so
um,
cool.
like, oh yeah, I just need to do this thing that I've practiced 1,000 times of, you know, it's just like, oh, in order to get out of this situation, I just need to execute scenario 746.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, just like,
Oh, he's so cool.
it's just way too cool.
Yeah.
And anyway, so that part where like you have to protect Ashley up there, and it's
Yeah.
like snipe, snipe, snipe. Oh, hello, boom, roundhouse kick, snipe, snipe,
Yeah.
snipe. Like, oh, parry, headshot, suplex. Okay, yeah, Ashley, you okay up there? Shot, shot, shot. Shoot that guy for fun. It's like, that guy's way the hell away from me, but you know what? Headshot. Oh wait, that guy's turned into one of those zombie kind of things. Flash grenade, shoot, shoot, shoot,
Yeah.
and it's like, I think I'm doing okay here. Oh wait, no, there's 1,000 people around me now. God damn it, shotgun. So yeah,
The
pretty
game had
satisfying.
a free update to give it the mercenaries mode, and
Okay.
it's very like an arcade. Like you just pick one of the characters. Like Leon has like his own
Mm.
toolkit, like certain weapons or whatever, and it's like it just puts you in the village for like X amount of enemies, and you know you get scores and you
Yeah.
know power up kind of things like everyone has like a special ability or whatever. It's really fun when you just want to get like a taste of the combat again without going
Y-
through the actual story.
Yeah.
It's really satisfying to just go back and just like do one of those. But the game's New Game Plus is also excellent, and I definitely recommend if you revisit it, just New Game Plus it and put it up one difficulty higher because you
Okay.
start with everything, all your weapons, all your upgrades.
Yeah.
So you're as powerful as you were at the end of the game
Nice.
going into the new one. And I did a New Game Plus playthrough that was very satisfying when you get like the fully upgraded Magnum, and it's
Yeah.
like I literally just saved that for bosses, and it was like the what are those the big gigas things? I forget what they call them. The big like ogre looking things.
Oh yeah,
El
yeah, yeah.
Gigante or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
When you fight the first one in that sort of like in that quarry.
Pit or whatever. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it's just like I think it was like 2 shots with the Magnum went on his weak spot, dead.
Yeah.
It's just like
Nice.
the boss killer, but
Uh,
and
yeah,
then they oh go ahead.
I'll have to do the New Game Plus because like very quick sidebar is that like I finished it. It was like, oh, okay, that was pretty satisfying. Maybe I'll play the New Game Plus, and kind of got into the Village Square, and then I was like, I think I'm kind of done this. I think I just want to play the Metal Gear Solid collection that you got me
Yeah,
for Christmas.
for
So
sure.
yeah,
Yeah, of
yeah,
course. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
and that's
yeah,
more just when if you go back for a second playthrough. The New
yeah,
Game
yeah, yeah,
Plus is very good, and it's like it's crazy how much more efficient you are in the beginning because you know how to play now, so you're
yeah,
way
yeah.
more capable going through. But yeah, it's very fun. And they also did do DLC for Ada. It's called like
Mm,
Separate Ways. Just keep an eye for that. Go on. I think it's like $20 or something, but they go on sale all the time. So
it's a good time.
yeah, it's like it's not super long. I think it was like 4 or 5 hours.
Okay.
But it takes place like you know how you run into her a few times.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
like you're playing what she's doing in between those.
Oh, nice.
So kind of like the Leon and Claire to a degree, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, okay,
and she's
cool.
got some really cool like unique moves to herself as well as like some unique boss fights.
Yeah. Oh,
So yeah,
cool.
definitely
Awesome.
just keep an eye for it to go on sale. If pick it up for like $10 or something, it's definitely worth playing through.
Nice. Yeah, because I love Ada too. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, so really liked it. Loved the upgrading your weapons aspect. You know, I love a good skill tree or an upgrade, whatever.
yeah,
Um, uh, ammo management wasn't as much of a problem.
yeah,
That was kind of nice. there are a few times where the case, I was like, I don't know what weapon, should I keep this, should I keep that?
Sure.
But for the most part, the case was big enough. I didn't have too much of a problem there.
Yeah.
Oh man, the times where like with RE2, when like you'd kind of get being chased by Mr. X and it'd be like, nope, I need a break. I can't, I can't,
Yeah.
I'm too like scared right now. I remember like there were a couple times where like Ashley like gets taken, and if you don't get her again, the
Yeah.
screen of her like being held over like into the abyss, or is like, ugh,
Yeah.
I need to go upstairs and look outside. Like, I need a break here. But yeah, it definitely got creepy. Oh, and the bugs I hated those
Yeah.
things too. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. But it was fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Um, that definitely it's crazy. It speaks to how insane last year was for video games that people are not still talking about how good that game is. And only
Yeah, yeah.
because so many other games of very high quality came out still in the
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Cuz yeah, as far as the remake goes, they did like everything right in terms
Yeah.
of like keeping with the more serious tone of like RE2 remake, cuz RE4 OG was goofy as hell.
Oh,
Like to
really?
like B movie, like Schwarzenegger level, like stupid quotes, like one
Yeah.
liners, like, it definitely was very campy. And so one of the reasons why a lot of people were worried when they said they were remaking 4 is like, you can't make that game the way it was exactly and keep it consistent with the tone of RE2 and 3 remakes,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because they are more serious and like more dark. And they just found like a perfect, like Leon still had a couple like quips or whatever, but it's
Oh,
like
yeah,
you somehow don't even care because he such like says it in such like a likable way that
yeah.
like the when you finish the village sequence and he's like, "Where's everyone going? Bingo." That's
Yeah.
like directly from OG4, and that was like almost because they put that in the demo. It was to say like, "Don't worry, like
We're
one-liners are
doing this
still
right.
here,
Yeah.
but it's still like it fits the tone like overall still." But
He
yeah,
like
he's
jumps out of a window and says some sort of quip at
yeah.
some
I
point.
guess I'll let
Yeah,
myself out or
yeah.
something. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's just the king of. I don't know why, but just something about Leon Kennedy as a character can get away with those one-liners, and like I never care. Like it
Uh,
never rubs me the wrong way. This
yeah.
is so great every time.
Um, but anyways, yeah, really enjoyed it. Boss fights were fun. Uh, Loved kind of the side quest nature of
Yeah, that
some
was
things,
new.
and like I remember like in the village, like one of the first buildings you like run into, it's like, oh, it's got this weird symbol on it that looks like one person pushing up another person.
Oh
It's like,
yeah,
oh, like I must get a companion at some point, and then like da 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 da, and you don't get Ashley until quite later. It's like, I gotta go way the hell back
yeah,
there. And so I was like, okay, I guess I'm doing that. And I did all, big surprise, all of the like side quests for the merchant,
yep,
which I love doing all of them.
yep.
But yeah, those are
Um,
fun.
and just crazy attention to detail is, uh, so let's say you new game plus it,
Mm.
you get back, so you have a sniper rifle in the beginning of the game, which you normally wouldn't.
Yeah,
If you get to that village sequence, um, and you use your sniper, I assume I don't know if it would work with the other guns, but sniper would just be easier. If you like look at like the church tower way off in the distance and
yeah,
shoot the bell,
yeah.
it will trigger that cutscene, and then you just
Oh,
skip the fight.
oh no way!
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
it's like there's
Uh,
so many little things like that in the game that's like crazy attention to detail.
that's awesome.
And anyway, yeah, that game was just like so fun to play. Like in RE2, when you enter a room with a bunch of enemies, you're like, oh fuck. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
but like
yeah,
in this one, you're like giddy. We're like, all right,
yeah,
who's getting
yeah.
suplexed?
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, all of them.
Yeah, yeah.
It will be as many as possible. But
Uh,
yeah, they just like figured out the perfect blend between like RE2 combat and like more action, because
Mm.
it also fits narratively because Leon is way more capable than he was in RE2.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right? So it makes sense that it's just, can like fight a lot more, hand to hand and with his knife and stuff. And I think
Yeah,
there's even lore that like the knife, if you look at the description of the knife he uses, it's the one. If you play RE2, when you did RE2, did you do like Leon A, Claire B, or do you remember which order you did it?
probably. Yeah.
So when you the what's his name, Marvin, in the police
Hmm.
station, he gives you a knife to like proceed through the police station.
Yeah.
It's like it's that knife that you have.
Oh
It,
wow.
like at least narratively, because I know you kind of you end up losing it technically
Yeah,
in RE2,
sure.
but whatever. But it's like narratively, it's like it's the knife that Marvin gave him or whatever. I
Gotcha.
think it's in like the tooltip of that knife or
Hmm.
whatever. But anyway, just there's a lot of fun facts like that in the game.
But no, really enjoyed it. Yeah, so died all the time. But
Yeah.
like that's fine. Loved like blowing up barrels around people. Like that
Hmm.
was really satisfying.
Classic red barrels. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, oh, and the shooting range mini game, we talked about
Oh
that a
yeah,
bunch. Like, yeah,
that was so fun.
I got S rank on all of them except the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and though I always like those because like, oh, I kind of have a better idea how to use this weapon now.
Yeah. Yeah. Same.
Yeah,
That.
yeah,
Yeah, it had dual purpose of just outside of just being fun and giving you those little charms or whatever. It's like actually taught
yeah,
you how to use those weapons the right
yeah.
way.
Um, Scared as shit in this like section where like you're Ashley and you need to like sneak through
Oh
the
God.
library or whatever.
Yeah.
Those like the suit of armor things. Like,
That part sucks.
yeah.
Like
Oh,
it sucks to play, but it's yeah, I don't
it,
dislike that part. It's just the most stressful part of the
it's
game.
it's done so well
Yeah,
that I'm
exactly.
super stressed. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, that was scary. But anyways, yeah, really liked it. I'll revisit New Game Plus at some point. But uh, yeah, I
And
because
classic RPG, the big eye in the final boss fight is
uh,
like RE2, you get when the train. No, wait,
oh
you get the RPG differently in RE2, but in this one, just classic like, oh, last boss, final hit, here's an RPG, shoot him.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like so
exactly.
cool.
Very classic Resident Evil.
And I don't remember what his one liner is, but he had one when he went up and like stabbed the eye with his staff or whatever.
Yeah,
I forget what he said, but
but it was yeah,
it
classic.
was great.
But yeah, so it was like I was, let me think here. Before going home for Christmas, it was like I was on the island and I was um you kind of on the outside of the island and then I got past like the helicopter stuff and
Yeah.
then there's a blue medallion kind of quest.
Yeah.
And then you kind of go underground kind of thing and that's exactly where I was before
Oh yeah. So
going home.
you were very close to the
Right.
end.
Yeah. So kind of got home, played through that, played New Game Plus a little bit. I was like, I really want to kind of check out Metal Gear Solid that you got me.
Mm-hmm.
And then played that for like a week. And then I was like, I have to buy a fucking Switch now. All I can think about is Breath of the Wild. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, that's like a pseudo segue. We can wrap
Yeah.
up RE4,
No,
but
I think
yeah,
we said I was about to jump into Breath of the
Mm.
Wild, so I think we've said what we need to say about RE4. So I'll give a little. I don't know if we. I don't think
I
we
don't think we talked
talked
about
about this on the
yeah,
last one. So we did talk about how you beat Mario Odyssey. So
yeah,
while you were here, Matt was just had his Switch on my setup here, and I would come home from work, and he would just come in and start playing, and I would be playing something on one of my monitors and kind of watching him play, like our old visits would be. And I told him, I was like, okay, because like there's no way he would have time to beat Breath of the Wild while he was here, because it was only like for well, you were still here for like 4 or 5 more days, but still, there's no way you would have been able to finish the game.
Yeah.
And so I said, like, you at least have to do the Great Plateau, which is like the tutorial segment essentially of Breath of the Wild, because it is a very well crafted tutorial that doesn't hold your hand too much, and it really familiarizes you with the runes that you're going to be using and just how this world works, like climbing anything, and what happens when you walk up to an enemy camp unprepared, how many times that you should expect to die from that, and like the temperature change, like it really does. It's a
good
tutorial.
Yeah.
So I was like, you got to at least play that. It'll take a couple hours, whatever. And then it was you just like got the glider and just like jumped off, and it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna keep playing though. And I was like, okay. Like, yeah, keep going then. I don't mind.
Yeah.
Because that is definitely one of those games that I wish I could like erase my memory and play it again for the first time. Because like the levels of joy that I got of just like, oh, well, what's over there? Well, what's that? What's over here? What was I doing 6 hours ago? I forget. What was that quest I was gonna do this morning? And it's supper time. Anyway, knowing that you love open world games, that's why I was like, at least do the tutorial, because like you would appreciate the sort of level design or the gameplay design. And so then you just kept going for the remaining 3 or 4 days you were here. And you got to, so you did the Yiga clan hideout mission, and you got to the divine beast in the desert, which I was telling my friend at work, and he's like, what? That's like the hardest one to go to first. I was like, I didn't tell him to stop. I just let him do his thing.
And like, it's almost like, how are you to, like, you're given no direction. It was a 25% chance that I picked that one.
That's the thing. It's like, it is honestly, I think, the harder ones to start, but it's like, it's not like the game was telling you to go one way and you went another. You just picked a direction, and you didn't even go directly there. You went around a bunch of different ways and just ended up over there. Which is the beauty of that game, is that you can do that and it doesn't stop you from doing that. And so you were like you didn't get to the boss, right? You didn't finish that divine beast when you were here. You just got a little ways into it. And then and the best thing too is like you do more the like last second dodge flurry rushes than I do in like an entire playthrough. You were like you'd like 5 enemies and you just like it's like you would get those all the time. And then he got to one of the like major test of strength shrines where it just pits you against one of those robots. And he wouldn't do it. And it's just like, you wouldn't. And he's like, it gives you, like, those enemies give such a tell. They like bring out their sword, twirl it, and then swing every time. And you were just like brute forcing your way through it. And I was like, I think at one point I just had to say, like, I was like, I don't remember how I said it, but it was like, you'll flurry rush like 7 different guys attacking you at once. Like, I think this guy wants you to do that.
And it was like I'd flinch at the tell. They're almost like pulling their punches a little bit. But anyway,
because it's like a pseudo tutorial on
how to do that.
I'm getting better at that thing that you've already been doing.
But like those major tests of strength ones, and that was like the 5th shrine I went to. And then you're like, okay, put like 4 bananas in a dish here and just let's anyway. I got some guidance there, but I played a bunch of that and died a lot. But
everyone's first time through that game dies a lot, so that is not a mark against you in any way. I think I was hoping you were gonna die the way I first died, which is getting that first tower like 5 minutes into the game, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, that was fun. Jump off, dead. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh. I was like, wait, I gotta climb down, I guess.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so, but you didn't do that one, so I was like, oh, okay, he's got a leg up on me at least.
yeah. But it was fun, kind of you and Mike watching, and like, because I was like, some of the moments of just like the Impa or whatever, or like the oh, what's her name? The chick in the
Oh,
like she's 100 years old, but
Pura or
she's
Pura, whatever her name is. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, that was classic. Um, anyway, there's so many vintage, just like super Japanese Zelda things
Yeah.
that just like warm my heart, and we just like laugh at the timing of yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but anyways, I just fell in love with it. And then I played that like nonstop, and
The rest
then
of your visit that you were
yeah,
here, yeah, it was just
yeah.
basically Breath of the Wild. Outside
Um,
of our like Tekken and Smash Brothers matches we did, but it was mostly
uh,
Breath of the Wild.
and I was like, okay, I'm probably gonna get a Switch now. Like, and then I was kind of like,
And I
oh,
thought you
let's
meant like sometime this year. That's what I
no.
thought you meant.
And so I was just like, okay, I'll just see how this goes. And I booted up Metal Gear Solid Collection, which was awesome. I played like a little bit of one, a little bit of two, and then I played a lot of three, because
Okay.
it's like, oh, this is actually, I don't remember this one like I remember all the others.
Sure. So it felt
And
more fresh.
I went deep. Like, it's got all these like um graphic novels and lore and all this
Yeah.
stuff, and then it kind of reminded me of MGS5, Phantom Pain. Is like, oh yeah, fuck, I love that game. Reminded me of that lore. And so I played a bunch of that. And then like for the week. And then the weekend came, and I was like, I'm buying a Switch. I was like, oh, what am I gonna do this weekend? I'm just gonna go to Best Buy. Garrett, should what's the difference between the Switch OLED,
Yeah.
whatever. Anyways, um, got that, and I've just been playing it nonstop. Like, uh, it's been like all I can think about all day at work. And then like dinner, like clean up, and then like, okay, what am I doing until bedtime? I'm playing Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
And then this weekend, we've been snowed in. It's been
Okay.
crazy. So
Just been
you've
playing
logged
that.
on, you've logged on a couple of times, and I've just been, anyway, I,
Yeah, so that's actually a good point. Is like, since watching you play Breath of
yeah.
the Wild again, because I haven't played Breath of the Wild by like, from the beginning in a number, few years, and I never did the master mode playthrough. Like, I never completed that,
Okay.
which is like the
Oh yeah,
hard
you were
mode or
mentioning it.
whatever.
Yeah.
And so after watching you play, I was like, okay, like I got to do my master move playthrough now. Like,
Yeah.
it's dumb that I haven't done it yet. And so I've actually been playing that. So every time I log on to play some of that, I was like, friends online, one, open it, Matt, this is Breath of the Wild. I'm like, okay, he's still going. So yeah,
And
every time I log on to my Switch, I see you playing Breath of the Wild.
it's funny too, because I probably for the first time ever, I kind of like have gone into this game thinking the exact same thing that you mentioned a minute ago, of just like, I wish I could reset my memory, and
Sure.
and I've just been like, I am playing this for the first time. So just like, just know that and love it, because you're gonna in the future be like, oh, I wish I could like reset my brain. And
Sure, yeah.
I've been kind of like actively appreciating the fact that I've never played this. I don't know the story at all. It's never been spoiled for me.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about this game, even though it's 2017 or something like
Yeah.
that. So like I I've just been like appreciating the fact that this is all new to me,
Yeah.
and I'll never, it's like, you wish you could go back in time and never have seen Star Wars or
Right.
whatever.
It's
And
one of
it's like
those. Yeah.
one of those, yeah. So I just love every minute of like, there's a tower way the hell over there. Guess I know what I'm doing for the next hour.
Yeah.
um, and like, oh hey,
And getting distracted all the way there. And
this stack of boxes looks slightly askew. There's probably a Korok associated with this, or oh, there's a an enemy hideout. Like I feel like trying to do some headshots with my bow, for a little
Yeah.
while. Like oh, every minute I've been just loving. This game is incredible.
So
Yeah,
it's like the fact that this is like Nintendo's first open world game.
yeah,
They've never done this was their first crack at an open world style
yeah,
game of really any kind, like even out of in their other franchises. They've never done just like a game with this sort of open world design. And like to nail it so well the first try is actually insane. Like I'm still baffled at how well they executed this for its first, their first go at it. Because once they sort of pseudo confirmed they were making this Zelda an open world game, like when it was still in development, I was like, okay, like I just like I know I'm gonna play it and I'm gonna like it, but it's gonna have some of that weird open world jank that's just not gonna
yeah,
be figured out yet, and I'm just gonna have to deal with that. And it's like,
yeah,
where is it though? Where's the
yeah, yeah,
jank? And the biggest flaw it has honestly is that it's like frame rate is not the best in some areas like that are really dense or whatever. But like
yeah, yeah.
I don't even care. Like I don't care. The
Um,
way that
uh,
game plays and it hooks you to
yeah,
keep playing is like unbelievable.
I I might still be in honeymoon phase, but I mean, like, this is like one of the best games I've ever played. Like, I love this game.
It it for sure is my favorite Zelda game. Like it surpassed every other Zelda game for me.
Yeah,
This is like the definitive Zelda game for me now. So,
yeah.
um,
Uh, I'm just, oh, I love every minute of it. Oh man, and like, so instantly, uh,
you followed the
Jap
same path.
oh, same path. Yeah, I was like, because I remember being like disappointed for about zero point 0.3 seconds that I couldn't get my save file from
Right.
you. Where I was like, oh well, I guess I'm just doing it all over again, and I'll do the exact same thing. I went to that same hideout and died a couple of times. Like that first enemy chest.
Oh
That
yeah, 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 yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You sent me a
Uh,
picture.
yeah,
It's like
yeah.
time for a rematch or something. Yeah.
Yeah. I like went to the Yiga hideout and
Yeah.
like did it perfect instant first
Yeah.
try. Like meanwhile, like that was like hours of I think I was just, fatigue or whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I think that was
rate
New Year's Day that you were doing that. And so
yeah.
we were all a little ragged that day.
Yeah, so anyways, same route. And but so I instantly before like even hit start game was changed to the Japanese voice
Mhm.
because oh
I
it's
do
so good.
I do like the Japanese voices better in this game for sure, yeah.
Um and the music is so good. The voice acting anyway, every and like I remember like I got a little bit slowed down with the Zora stuff.
Yeah,
Like it was
so
just
how
like,
far so you beat the divine beast in the desert, the one that you
yeah,
started here. So what have you done more, because I don't think we've talked
yeah.
about
We
how far
haven't.
you've
We
made
have
it.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I beat the Zora Divine Beast.
Okay.
So best upgrade
Yep.
ever. Yeah.
Yeah, so I did text Matt. I was like, when he
Yeah.
told me he beat the Urbosa one or the Garuda one, I said, I don't want to tell you how to play, but I would prioritize the Zora and the Rito ones next because
Yeah.
the utility of their like up their power up or whatever is like very good.
Yeah.
So yeah, the res and the temporary hearts or whatever it is.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Like I was just like, what? Seriously? Like, oh man, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Um, And then like, cause yeah, it was just like, oh, the Zora, um, I don't know. It was kind of, I was also like midweek, so I think I was just getting tired from work, and I was
Mhm.
just like, oh, I gotta slog through the Zora temple, or whatever. But then like the princess or whatever that you're the spirit that's embodied, whatever, like,
Yeah.
oh, I was just like, this she means everything to me. I was just like,
Yeah.
I will do whatever it takes to save her. Like, I was just like, she's incredible.
Yeah.
My heart just like broke for her.
Yeah.
And then went to the Rito place next,
Okay.
and just beat that beast
Oh
today.
shit. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Damn.
And I really loved that town because it was very linear.
Yeah.
I found the Gerudo, like, I get so lost. Like, have I done all the side quests here?
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's a whole section of this place I haven't even found yet.
Yeah.
But the Rito is just like a
Like a spiral
um
kind of thing. Yeah.
yeah. And just that theme, like, reminds me of something. Is it in a previous
Yeah.
Zelda game,
It's
or
in
okay?
Wind Waker.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. That
And it's probably been in. I don't remember if it was anything other than Wind Waker, but it's been covered many times as well.
okay.
It is a
That
very popular track.
Oh, that was so, it's just, and when it transitions to nighttime, like, it just
Yeah.
oh, I loved it. And that the Zora, the prince or whatever, that guy
Sidon.
just
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's
yeah.
so ham.
Oh man, that was so good. That boss fight was really fun.
Yeah.
Or sorry, not the boss fight, but the beast fight of going up the waterfall and
Oh, yeah. And shooting
shooting.
those things. Yeah.
That was really satisfying. And then with the flying one was also awesome. I was
Yeah.
like, I know exactly what to do, and it's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah.
And I really like the kind of the bird, like, soldier character guy,
Yep.
whatever. Both the alive
Uh,
one and the spirit one.
yeah.
Um,
Rivali is the champion.
mm. And it was really funny. So the Zora boss, I remember being like, or the Calamity boss
Yep.
in the elephant kind of thing. I remember being like, "That's it,"
Yeah, because you
like,
did
because
because
that
you
was
did
so.
Thunderblight already with like 3 hearts.
Yeah, seriously. And so, like, that's it. Oh, okay, man, that was easy.
Yeah.
And then the one, I really liked the mechanics in the the flying divine beast of tilting,
Yeah.
because I saw in the main component some stuff that were clearly
On rails or
rails.
whatever.
And I was like, I know exactly what I gotta do
Yep.
here.
Yeah.
And as and oh, you might laugh at this, or you might say I did the same thing. Or if you remember, but one of the parts of that, um you you do you do a couple of, like, you kind of you put a bomb in a little slot, and it goes into another room,
Uh-huh.
so that you can tilt, it rolls and um blows up a wall. So now there's like a push button thing.
Okay.
Okay, you do it again, and you kind of make it lean. You open a window to blow the bomb over here, blow it up, and then a big metal ball comes out. And okay, with the magnet, I can kind of move that around. And what you're supposed to do is put it in front of the push button thing and, like, push the button. But I took it out the window, outside the entire piece, and then in the window on my side. Like, what do I do with this? And I brought it in, like, all throughout the entire beast, and used it elsewhere, like on the other wing, and then
Sure.
pushed it on this button, and I was like, oh, wonder if I could do that over in the original spot. you do it and it opens the door so that you can get the
So that you
ball.
could have taken it. Oh, so you like bypass the whole point of that button.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, because you open the windows for the win, and I just like, okay,
Yeah.
out the window and in the other. I was like, oh,
I could
that's
just
pretty
see
funny.
like finally figuring that out. Like, oh, I use that button, go back. I was like, man, I can't wait to see what this does. And just like,
Yeah.
oh.
Oh, but there's so much in that game. The thing that I like about that game, which you kind of alluded to, what is like, and it's kind of something that I like in day-to-day life, where it's just like there's not just one way to solve a problem.
Yeah.
And that game does a really good job at, because there are a lot of games where it's like, okay, it tries to coach you along A to B to C to D, and here it's like you can do A, you can do B, or you can do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
The physics, the laws of physics are kind of your guide, and you can do all sorts of crap.
So this is an argument that I like to make when this is like one of the critiques that people have about Breath of the Wild is they missed the more traditional dungeons.
Mm.
Which I understand, but the problem with those is like because this game gives you all the major tools you need at the tutorial level.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and then,
yeah,
okay, every puzzle you're going to figure out, 99% of them are going to use these tools.
yeah,
Sometimes there's a shrine that's like needs you to burn something, so it will just have a torch so that you can light an arrow or something like that.
yeah,
But 9 times out of 10, it's just like, yeah, just use the runes you have, figure it
yeah,
out.
yeah,
And you don't get that in the like traditional dungeons because it's like, oh, this is the dungeon where you get the arrow and bow and
yeah,
arrow. So here's a bunch of bow and arrow switches like that
yeah,
you're gonna have to. So you know, I feel like that is way easier of a trap to fall into when designing dungeons in that way. Whereas in Breath of the Wild, it's like you don't get that. And it's like you go into a shrine and like you have the solution, but it's not because you just opened a chest and it gave you the item you're gonna need
yeah, yeah,
for that room or whatever, right? So and Jason of our friends, Jason Melissa,
yeah.
he's been texting me because he kind of had a similar conversation with me like a couple months ago that he was looking at getting a Switch and wanted to know
Mm.
some stuff about it and what games to get and whatever. And I, gave him kind of a similar speech, which by the way, I'm going to give you a list of Switch games to keep an eye out for when they go on
Yeah,
sale because
perfect.
there's a lot that,
I
there's
got some catching up to do.
yeah, and there's just a lot that I know you will like. So he's been going through Breath of the Wild lately too,
Oh, nice.
and he's just been texting me random stuff. And he texted me like the exact same thing, yeah, just the other day.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
man, I just love how you. It's like there's sometimes I do a puzzle and then like so there's one. I don't remember if you did this one when you were here, where you had to like. I forget what. Oh, there was like one of the little shrine ball things that had to go into
Ah,
the what a
I,
little
I I did this one. Yeah.
with the scoop.
Like you flipped it over.
Like
Okay, so maybe.
so the shrine ball was like in water, and
Oh
the
no,
thing.
I haven't. I did not do that one, I
Yeah,
think.
maybe you didn't. Because I just did this one the other day. I was like, man, I don't remember
Okay.
if I saw Matt do it, but this is when Jason was texting me about. Essentially, it's like there's a shrine ball in the water, and you can see where it has to go, but you just can't get it because it's not a metal ball. But
Yeah.
there's like this metal sort of like like
Yeah.
spherical, like a little scoop, and that's
Yeah.
metal. And so you're meant
Yeah.
to like pick the ball
Oh,
up with the
yes.
scoop
Yeah.
and put it in. And he's like texting me, he's like, I forget what he said he ended up doing. I'm gonna see if I can bring it up really fast because it made me laugh that it was in no way
Um,
the to do with the scoop.
while you find it, I'll kind of explain another good example here was like I just did this shrine today that like it clearly wanted me. It was near the Rito area, so it's really dialing into the wind stuff.
Yeah.
And it'd be like you're supposed to take the ball, put it up here, block,
Yes. I
block
just
it with
did
a.
that one too. Yes.
Okay, block it with a metal box, so that it blows and then blows this way, and then we'll go in here and set it up because it'll take a long time to do this,
Yeah.
so that you have time to go over here
And it'll
to
bring the
run
platform.
to run on the platform.
Yeah.
And so I was like, nah, I'm just gonna do like stasis.
Yeah.
Like here's a hill, and like stop, go 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 go. And then like, oh, okay. That's all that works for me.
Yeah.
So because it almost seemed kind of secret, because it looked like it was in that incline was in kind of enclosed area, but then I was like, no, there's a little hole over here that I could just like go into.
Yeah,
So anyway,
I did a similar thing where I was literally in that shrine and I was like, I see what you want me to do, but I'm not doing that.
yeah.
I think what I did was I did something stasis related to. I don't remember, but it was similar. Like, no, I'll do it this way. I'll be fine.
And it was funny too, because there's also a chest in that room, and it's kind of funny. Some chests you can get with your magnet rune, and some you can't.
Right.
And so it never. So I was just like, how do I get that? Like, do I need to like go up and then do just like a perfect jump glide, put the metal box close so that I land on that? And like, wait a minute, magnet. Okay.
Yeah, it's always worth just turning that on first to see if it turns pink or whatever.
And then the other one was a neat stasis one that had like a stone ball and a metal ball, and it was one of those like, gyrometer.
Oh yeah, you gotta tilt the controller. Yeah.
So like you stasis the metal ball, or like take the metal ball, move it in,
and it's like that hammer thing that you had.
Yeah. And so I'm at that point, my like controller's batteries had died, so I was playing it on like mobile version. And so I was like, okay, freeze that, or move it here, stasis it, and then just like, come on. And then I learned that you could go like bang, 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 bang. So I was like, ding, ding, ding. So I was like, yes, huge red line. And then it just like, it hit the stone ball, and the stone ball went like into another dimension. And I was like, shit, like I need that. I need that in the next room. And this thing went like into another. I was like, shit.
Yeah, the first time you do stasis and overcompensate, it's so funny. And I think I did the same thing in that one where I was like, probably 3 hits is good, right? Ding, ding, ding. I was like, okay, 1 should do it.
Oh man,
that's so funny.
So, there's so many good stasis moments.
There's that one that I was trying to do when you were here, where it's got like the little, I forget the name of that game, but it's where you guide the ball through the maze.
Yeah.
It was like doing that, and when I got to that one on my playthrough, I just like, because I tried doing this with Matt was here, but I couldn't get it. Where you just flip the whole controller upside down so it's all flat, and then you just, as soon as the ball comes on, you're just like, dink, and you just knock it over. And I got it, like, yeah, there we go. That's all I needed to do.
Man,
it's again, so funny.
It's this lateral thinking, right? And like, anyway, this game feels like because I do this friends that we do escape rooms all the time, and this is just like a non-stop 8 hours a day escape room. So like I'm just loving it so much.
Yeah, it would definitely like tickle that same, that sort of itch or whatever.
I've never been like so happy playing a game for a long time. So anyway, I'm actually this is I had 2 notes for today. My other note is I'm kind of low key worried because can I get through this and Tears of the Kingdom before Rebirth?
No.
No. So,
but I will say that's not a bad thing, because I was gonna say if you were getting to the end of Breath of the Wild, I was gonna tell you I would not jump right into Tears of the Kingdom, because it is like very familiar. And
So
it's
you want to
like,
relearn?
well, not even that, because all the tools are different, but it's like it would almost feel like too samey if you went from like a hundred, like a crazy long playthrough right into the next one.
Yeah,
I think it is good to like take a break, step away from it for a bit, so that you don't get burnt out on. Because
that's a
a
good.
lot of the map is similar, right? It's the same Hyrule map. It's just been changed in certain ways.
Yeah, that's good
Um,
advice.
yeah, I
Uh,
wouldn't play them back to back for sure.
okay, all right. So that sounds good. I'll just uh invest my life into Breath of the Wild with occasional beatdowns on Tekken
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
until Rebirth comes out. Okay, that
Yeah,
sounds good.
and then
Anyway,
revisit Tears of the Kingdom like in the summer or something.
I'm loving so oh yeah, sorry. The other thing was the Rito, the that divine beast
Mhm.
fight. Um, I was just kind of slogging away because I had pretty good heart,
Right,
situation at that point, and so like he kind of has like a Mega Man X blaster,
right.
kind of thing. It's like I can dodge these pretty easily. Oh, I needed bomb arrows on the cannons to get in. So I
Yeah.
was like, I probably just got to use bomb arrows to damage this guy and got him most of the way down. And then I was like, wait, there's all these like vents in it's like I'm supposed to do like the bullet time arrow stuff. And I was like, okay, yeah, of course, reset. Let's do this the way that they want me to do it.
Sure.
Because then you're in the air, boom, 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 like eye shots. You get like three of those in bullet time, and then he staggers on the ground.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. Now I'm gonna do my spinorama Gerudo lightning and just like, oh yeah, fuck this guy. This guy didn't even have a chance. Um, and then I I died several times, or sorry, I beat that, and then I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go do a couple of shrines, and then I'm gonna get that effing master sword out of the goddamn
Oh,
stone.
so did you
So
find your way? You got through to the
yep,
forest? Okay.
yeah, yeah.
That took
So
me way too long to figure out. You just had to follow the fucking torches. That
yeah,
took
I
me,
was
I had to come back. I was like, oh, I can't, because I wouldn't look it up, right?
yeah.
And I was just like, fuck this place. Like, I couldn't, anyway, it took me way too long to figure out. You just follow the fucking fire.
Because the maracas guy, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I went back to that same spot and I was
Yeah,
like,
he's
where
gone.
the hell is he?
Yeah.
And then I roaming around, I was like, oh man, I think that's him. And then he's like, oh, blah blah blah. I remember where I was supposed to go, big
Yeah.
forest. And then I opened up a tower that had this gigantic forest. And so I was like, I've got fucking like 20 Korok seeds. I know where I'm going.
Yeah.
I want to cash this in. And then yeah, couldn't figure it out for a little bit, but like there's some fire. I'll follow the fire. Maybe
Yep.
it's like, oh, okay, I'm not disappearing into nothingness.
Right.
Um, oh, the music there just like so immersive. Like
So
I
good.
again the music and not necessarily the soundtrack is amazing, but like just the music period.
Yeah.
Very creepy and ominous kind of thing. And anyway, okay, followed that, got in, um, and then I was pretty proud. All of, like the trials that you do.
Yep.
There was one, and this is really funny. The one where you're supposed to follow the iron in the mouths
Yeah.
of the
The
trees.
trees. Yeah.
Um, I just like went into that trial. I didn't even talk to the Korok guy right there. I was like, oh, sweet. And like the fog kind of consumes me. I was like, what the hell am I supposed to do? It's like, oh, there's something in that tree's mouth. And then I got my magnet rune out and I'm trying to like take it out. Like, come on. And you can hear it kind of spinning and like, give it to me. And like, oh, there's another one over there. Maybe I can get that one instead. And like, pulling, oh, maybe, oh, I wonder if this is what I'm supposed to do. And so I just kept following that. And then beat the shrine.
Yep.
Um, and then I did the other two, and then I went to the main guy and it's like, no, I did all three. Like, come
You
on,
didn't
man.
you
Like,
didn't talk to the Korok to like
I
do
didn't
like get the
talk to him.
quest.
So I talked to him. I was like, new quest
Yeah,
completed.
yeah. I've done that for there's a so anytime you get a quest, uh and it says shrine quest, that just
Yeah.
means like if you complete the quest, it'll lead you to a shrine. But
Yep.
you don't
Yep.
always need the quest to do the thing that the quest wants you to do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that has
Yeah.
happened to me many times where I do a thing like, oh, that was cool. Hey, what's this guy want to talk to me about? And it's like, accepted, completed. I'm like, oh, that would have
Yep.
helped if I talked to him first to figure out what it wanted me to do. Yeah,
Yep.
I've definitely done
Um,
that.
anyway, sorry to talk your ear off, but
Oh,
I
I
just
love it. Breath of the
oh
Wild, it's so good.
and every memory I get, like it's just like, God damn it, Zelda, I need to find you, like,
Yeah.
because I remember, right. This is what did it. This is the reason I bought a Switch as soon as I did, because you showed me that goddamn
Oh,
trailer.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when he finished, I think that was when you finished the Great Plateau. I
Yeah.
made him watch. It was like the Nintendo Switch presentation uh release trailer where they first showed the date. And that was the first like full like story trailer. And it's like
Yeah.
one of the best trailers I've ever seen in my life. Like it's
God.
so
It's
good.
so cinematic.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
music, that music like doesn't even appear in the game. That music was just in that trailer that plays.
Yeah.
Um anyway, yeah, so I showed him that trailer after he finished the Great Plateau.
Game over. Anyways, so I'm absolutely loving it. This is like paid itself off instantly.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's just such a good game. I'm
Mm.
loving it. For anyone, watching this who played this 5 years ago, whatever, like, fine. But the whole theme of this is I'm about 5 years behind on gaming, and
Yep.
that's just my story.
Uh,
So yeah,
no, it's
yeah,
it's so fun watching someone experience this game for the first time, and that's why when Matt was here, I was trying not to really give him advice unless you asked,
yeah,
because
yeah,
that was the fun for me was just trying to figure this shit out, and then if I really got stuck, I would look online for just hints about how to do not necessarily do a puzzle, but like like let's say like an example would be like how to make food to increase your heat tolerance or stuff like that. Like,
yeah,
I don't,
yeah,
but it was like it was fun just discovering all this stuff, more or less. Because like I'm so glad I didn't know you got a power when you beat a divine beast. So when I
yeah,
first got one, I think I went around for a long time and then eventually, okay, I'll go do one beast just
yeah,
to see what those are like. And I think I did the Rito one first, and so I got the Rivali's Gale
yeah.
as my first one, which was. Did you use it yet? Have you
Oh
seen what it
yeah,
does?
yeah.
Okay.
I use it all the time.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like game changer. I love
The
that fucking thing.
the funny thing about the Urbosa one is it was like times three, times two, and times
Right.
one. And it wasn't like refilling. And I was like, damn it, I don't know how to refill this. So I was being really stingy about it. And then I
Didn't know it
thought
was
like,
just on like a cooldown.
and it's like it's only on a cooldown after you use them all. And
Yeah.
so I fought like one of these like pseudo bosses, like I think the one in the desert. And I was like, fuck it, I'm using these. If you don't use them, like this is the kind of thing. And then saw it very slowly. And I was like, oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
sweet, yeah. Um, and anyway, so that's effing powerful.
Yeah.
That is a pretty baller. Now I'll get like a two-handed sword and charge that up, and you're just literally spinning
You're just
around.
spinning, yeah.
I fought like one of the name starts with an M. Like they're just like big orc looking things.
Oh,
Mo
um like the big one-eyed ones.
Yeah.
They're Hinox.
Sorry, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. So he's sleeping, and then I like use my stealth suit, get right up to him, and here we go, and I get like 10 hits in before he's standing up,
Yeah.
and then I release, so like half his life done by the time I'm okay. First move, um, man, I really enjoyed. There's a an island where like you
Yep. You
get all
lose
your
everything.
stuff. I That was really fun.
Yeah.
Frustrating until I beat it, but that was a clever mechanic. I like that a lot.
I found that like very late into my playthrough my first time. Like I was
Oh, okay.
probably almost done the game when I was like, what the fuck's over there? Like, let me go see.
Hmm.
And it was like, it immediately made me be like, man, I want to start a new game. Like, I love having nothing and just like,
Yeah.
oh, let me fight something with this tree branch and then I can maybe get a rusty sword and then I can use that to get a
Yep.
better weapon. And, just that progression of having nothing when you walk out of that cave at the beginning of the game. And so it just invokes that same feeling. And it just
Yep.
made me like, man, I just want to play another, I want to start a new playthrough. But obviously I didn't.
It was
Uh,
really funny because like you first get there, and then there's like, oh, there's clearly a receptacle for the orbs.
yeah.
But it's like in the water, and you're just like, how the crap am I? And I'd like try throwing it. No, then the orb is in the water, and it's like I can't pick up shit when I'm in the water. Like, and I was like, fuck, did I just like soft lock this game? Like,
Sure.
and I was like, God damn it, I'll go out and do other things, whatever. And then it came back like, oh wait, I have a rune. It's like, yeah, okay, fuck. There's so many times in this game where I'm like, what the hell? Oh yeah, that like basic one of the five
Yeah.
like basic skills you have. Like, so now it's like if ever I'm like screaming at the TV, it's like go through your runes and
Yeah,
check
look
and
at your
see.
basic tools.
Yeah.
Just to bring it back to this, because I found what I was looking for.
Oh yeah,
So
perfect.
when
What
Jason
Jason
was
said.
doing that one with the scoops, he didn't see those or didn't know what he was supposed to do with them. So there's the like they're called octoroks, but they're the little like
Yeah,
octopus things that like hide in the
balloon
ground or
thing.
whatever.
Yeah.
The balloons, if you attach those, I don't know if you've tried
Oh yeah.
this.
No.
If you attach it to something, they'll puff up and it'll like, depending how heavy it is or whatever, it'll
Yeah.
float. And he said he went in underwater. Wait, how did he do it? So I'm here. He was like attaching octo balloons to those to the orb, floating it up, stasising, bombs, arrows, all the stuff to push it over that way. So, and then he figured out, I think he said he figured out on the second one because that one had an extra element where you had to put the scoop on the button underwater to cave in
Yeah.
like the thing or whatever. But yeah,
Yeah.
just like figuring out these weird ass ways to do these like puzzles is like,
Oh, I
it's so
love it
fun.
so much. Um, I also it's funny, like one of the harder things was that gyro puzzle of like getting it through and then like flipping it into a very skinny corridor. Like the
Mhm.
one even when you flip the controller upside down.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but I remember one time it was just like, oh, and it's just like, okay, that's in
Eh,
another dimension.
it's just gone. Yeah.
It's
It's
either like dribbles over the side or you launch it into the next dimension.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
oh
Oh
man,
man. It is truly such a great game. Especially for someone like you who just loves that style of game of just like
mm,
exploration and
yep,
no limits and like congratulations, every other open world game is ruined for you now because you'll want to just climb any surface.
yeah, no,
That's exactly what
exactly.
happened to me. I think I was so Horizon Zero Dawn, the first one came out like a week before Breath of the Wild,
Okay,
and I bought it, and I was like, I gotta try and beat this game before Breath of the Wild comes out because I
yeah,
know I won't be touching anything else for a while. And I
yeah,
didn't. I got like pretty far, but maybe like 70%. And I was like, okay, pause on you, Breath of the Wild, and like I didn't stop playing that until I got like every single Korok and got 100% completion. So that
Yeah.
was like 150 hours later
Oh
over
man.
a couple weeks, um, and eventually was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna pause on this game. I've done everything. Go back and finish Horizon, and it was just like a cliff, like this steep, and I'm like,
Yeah.
well, climb it, bitch.
Yeah.
It's just like it's like so frustrating and for the first little bit, and then I do feel like more games are like giving you more freedom of movement, but there's just none of them like Genshin Impact does it, which is like so much Breath of the Wild influence, obviously, in that game.
I remember you
Um,
showing me just you gliding.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly. And like that's a game where you can climb everything. I think like one of the Assassin's Creed games after Breath of the Wild let you almost climb just about any surface. Like it started showing up in other games, like the ability to do that.
Yeah.
And it's just because, yeah, Breath of the Wild just changed open world games. Like it's crazy how much influence it has.
Yeah. Oh man. But I just I'll sit cooking all sorts of shit. Like
Yeah.
I love every minute of that game.
Yep.
And but it is I'll be like I started playing at like 6 a.m. and it's 3 p.m. Like what is happening? It's consuming, but
It's
anyway,
an easy game to lose, just lose track of time for sure.
for us in Canada, like it's just kind of a perfect winter game of just like, you know what? It's fucking cold as shit outside. I'm just gonna hang out inside, play a
Yep.
game. It's just kind of yep. Anyway, it's been awesome. I've been absolutely loving it.
Sweet.
One very random thing, 0.1% of the people listening to this will appreciate this, but yeah, anyway, you will. Like I laugh every time that I look at the Lost Woods, whatever, on the map because it looks exactly like New Brunswick. Like the shape
Really?
of it is essentially New Brunswick.
Hmm.
Yeah, I have to look it up. It's just that kind of square-ish kind of shape. Um, but anyways, I laugh. We're like, oh, here's Moncton, here's Fredericton, here's you know.
It does. I just pulled it up on my Switch.
Yeah, yeah.
It does look like New Brunswick. I never
But
noticed that.
also for a wider appeal, for those who don't know, the province of New Brunswick is shaped very much like France. So if you know what France looks
Sure.
like, it has a very, very similar shape. Anyway, so whenever I was in there, it's like, oh,
I never picked up on that.
I gotta go get I gotta go get the Master Sword from Bathurst. But anyway, yeah.
That's really good.
Um,
I'll never
for
be able to unsee that now.
no, exactly. So
Yeah.
sorry, New Brunswick Breath of the Wild fans. That might be that might have ruined the Lost Woods for you.
Oh
But
man.
anyway, sorry. Okay, sorry to kind of fanboy over
No.
Breath of the Wild, but for those who love it as much as I have been, hope
There's
you've
a few
enjoyed it.
friends I have that I will for sure recommend they at least watch the last half of this episode because they love Breath of the Wild. So I'm sure
Good.
they'll enjoy hearing a fresh person's perspective on it because it's like as the years go on, it's more and more rare that someone hasn't seen or really played anything of this game, right? So
Well,
yeah, it's so
it's
fun.
it's it's like, I've had a few friends, like my friend Mike and my friend Jake, who've like, oh, I'm gonna play remake, FF7 remake, and it's like, text me
Yeah.
every moment.
Yes.
Like I want to live it through your
Yeah.
your eyes. Yeah, yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. And same
yeah,
when we were playing 16. It was like you texting me your stuff and my friends texting me. I was like, just text me. One of my friends was playing it, and I was telling her, I was like, just like text me before you go to bed every night and tell me where you got to.
yeah,
It's like
yeah.
because I want to wake up. She lives in in BC,
Uh-huh.
so by the time I wake up, I was on vacation then playing, so I was getting up at like 6:30, 7 o'clock. But by the time I was getting out of bed, I'd have this giant message to read of where she got to or whatever. It's like so much fun just,
Yeah.
you know, experiencing it through someone else's eyes, especially when it's a game that's not brand new that I'm currently experiencing for the first time. But it's like you said with remake, it's like, yeah, that game came out a few years ago, but like I want to hear someone's like impressions as they go through it, because it's just,
Yeah.
you get to live through their kind of naive eyes for a little bit, and it's like as close to what we'll get as well as close as what we'll get to playing it for the first time again, is at least hearing someone else's first time impressions
Yeah.
on it or whatever. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I think
But
you can. What I would do is like, once you get to the, to where you for sure do all the memories,
yeah.
because you get like an extra memory unlocked, which is very very worth watching.
Oh, okay.
And then when you do the fourth divine beast, and then when you decide to go in and beat the game, you can like immediately just like load your save back up and keep doing stuff in the map or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like, don't feel like you have to fully do everything before you go and beat it to see the ending or see the final bit or whatever.
Yeah.
And then once you've beaten the game and you want to just, if you end up wanting to just spend time doing stuff in the map, I could send you like one of those like interactable maps where you can just check stuff off. So if you want to go shrine hunting and just like, if you click on it, it'll tell you how to get that shrine, but it'll at least tell you where it is without giving you any hints. So you can at least go to that area and, look for, that's what I ended up doing to fill out the map.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, please send me that. Yeah, because I think that will keep me entertained till Rebirth. So I think my plan is set for
between that and
Rebirth.
Tekken for sure.
Oh yeah.
Plenty to play.
Yeah, but anyway, so it's been awesome. So thank you for
costing you a bunch of money.
Oh man, cost me a bunch of money. Sure, well spent. With a lot of these things are just like, if I think about like the price per hour, it's just like it's nothing. So no, I've just, this has just been like such a delight. And it's funny because I played it. A friend of mine had it, and like I was in Calgary, and like, oh, you should, the Great Plateau kind of thing, and like, oh, this is really fun, and I was really into it, but I just had no clue it was this expansive. So anyway,
no, I love. We'll revisit this again when you beat it. We'll talk some more about it, but it's your experience with it is like everything I wanted to be as an outside like observer. Like because I knew you would like it once you got into it, just for its open world structure or whatever. And it's just, it was definitely more fun when you were here, because we would laugh at silly things that would happen, obviously.
I was about to say, it's like, it's super fun, but I do miss you watching every moment of it. That's an aspect that is lost. But anyway,
we at least have this now, this platform to be able to talk about it now, rather than wait until next Christmas to talk about. Imagine trying to condense all of this into one phone call 12 months from now. So
exactly,
we have this outlet at least to get those thoughts out for sure.
I think I took a screenshot. Maybe I haven't sent it to you yet. But when I was on that island, I was because it's like a kind of a tropical island kind of thing, palm trees, whatnot. So it's really sunny, and then I'm holding one of the orbs, and just the way the sun, the light, it just looked like Link had a huge bald spot. Walking around, big bald spot. So I took a screen scam. I was like, oh, the years have been rough on Link. I'll send you.
Taking pictures. Also, just there's one moment. This is what's lost when we're not in the same room watching you play. Is when you discovered the like selfie mode in the camera. It was like a serious mode or something, and all of a sudden you just pushed the button, and Link was just like, and you lost it. That was really funny
Oh
for you to
man.
discover.
Um, there was one point I like had to pause the game for a good 5 minutes because I was laughing so hard. I was like mid battle, like moblins, everything all over the place. And I had the camera on because I had been doing a seeker kind of thing, and then like wanted to use a bomb, and then like got it like got the camera out like, no, 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 I don't want this, and then I hit whatever button turns it into selfie mode. Instead of canceling out of it, I just like like the monsters come at me, and then died instantly. But I was just like, oh god damn it, Link. Um anyway, so yeah, that and then also when I was in New Brunswick playing it under Garrett's supervision, it would cost like I'd say 30% of the time that I would try to open, not 30, but 20% of the time I would try to open the
Oh.
map, I would take a screen cap. Um, but it's
It's
funny.
just it'd be running, stop, the little click from taking a picture, like, oh, wrong button.
And like me, you, and Mike would just like laugh. It was always just like, yep, and did it again. Like Garrett's gonna have like 50 pictures to delete. But it's funny because I don't have. I find with the regular control setup, I never ever do that.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah, because they're on the bottom on that controller.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they're a lot closer together on the Pro controller.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like, oh, where should I go next? Click.
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, I mean, I wish it's kind of ironic that like, oh, selfie moment mid battle. I just wish I would have taken an actual picture.
Yeah, the one time it would have made sense.
Oh, anyway, next time I do that by mistake, I'll try to panic picture and
Yeah.
oh god, it was just like it was a huge battle. Like
Yeah.
anyway. Oh god, it was funny. I was like, oh, I wish Garrett was here.
Yeah, that selfie mode, when you did it here, that was one that I laughed so hard about. Just because I don't think it was I don't think it was in the middle of a battle when you did it, but it was just I
Very
don't know, it was just
serious
so
moment.
unexpected. Just like looking out across, like look, I think you're at like one of the towers or something, looking out, trying to ping shrines, and then just all of a sudden, it's like I found one. Yeah, it was so good.
Oh man. Okay. Anyway, so loving the game. I'm gonna play a bunch of it tonight, I'm sure.
Yep.
And anyway, this is a great game to get me through the winter months.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
For all the times we're snowed in or just can't do anything, you know, outside or enjoyable outside because it's too cold or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah, definitely a good game to sink some time into. So,
yeah,
yeah, we'll revisit this when you get to the end. And then yeah, we'll, like I said, wait on Tears of the Kingdom. You know, let it sit for a while first, so that you're not just going right in and get burnt out on, because it's like it feels exactly the same, so it could just end up feeling too similar
yeah.
if you went right into it. So yeah, I think if you wait, tackle that after Rebirth at some point. Um,
Man, after Rebirth,
I know,
just
right?
it just sounds so. Yeah,
There's deadlines for things I have at work that are like March 30th or like mid March. I'm like, man, I'll be done. I might have my platinum on Rebirth by then or
I
whatever.
know.
Like,
Yeah. It's
it's
such
like
a
we're
weird
so
thing to think
close.
about. Like, oh man, that version of me
Yeah.
will have completed Rebirth. Yeah, like I don't even know what that world is like.
Yeah. I literally will look at those, and I think I even said it in one of our like meetings with the other leads,
Mm,
and they just look at me like I'm an idiot. But it's just like, I think this happened when FF16 was coming out, and it's like we were talking about something coming up in July, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna be a whole different person then. I won't even be the same guy anymore.
It's so it sounds so bigger than it should, but it's so true.
It's true. My
Yeah,
perspective on life will be different when I get to this point in mid March.
yeah.
Um,
Um, it's funny because what is it? It's like the 29th, right?
yeah.
But like um yeah, so like I'm at a conference until the 29th.
Okay.
And then I'm getting physical copy, so it'll probably be a couple of days, but like my best friend Bill and his wife and family are coming over that weekend.
Okay.
So then it's like I'm realistically not gonna boot that up until like the 9th of March.
Oh God.
Yeah, you'll have platinumed it by that
Who am I
point.
gonna talk to?
I know.
My head will be exploding.
Oh yeah, no. So anyways, yeah, you're gonna have to my same thing happened with remake. Like I feel like you were
If for
like
sure. I
I
was like,
think
text me the second you finish so we can talk about it. Yeah.
I feel like you were like text me the second you started because
Yeah.
I think I had because I again physical copy that I bought from Square Enix, so it
Yeah.
was like coming from their factory in Vegas or whatever. So I did not get that until like a week after the release date.
Yeah.
So
And
anyways,
that was like early 2020, so ev- everything was a mess.
yeah,
Shipping and it was not an ideal situation for that stuff. So, which that's honestly the only reason why I got that copy digital at the
true.
time was just because I knew I was going to be off work when it came out, and I
Yeah,
was like, I don't want
didn't
to
want to
wait
risk.
one fucking second to start
Yeah,
playing this game. And I'm gonna do the same thing for Rebirth. So I booked. It comes out. That's a Thursday, I think, the 29th.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so I booked that day and then the whole next week off. And
Wow.
I'm just going to bed at like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, whenever I feel like I can, fall asleep Wednesday night. And then whatever time I wake up, because it technically unlocks at like 2 a.m. or something, or 1 a.m. for us
Okay. Yeah.
on the East Coast. So um, it'll just be like, yeah, whenever I wake up, if it's past 1 a.m., I'm starting. It's like,
Amazing.
yeah, that's what I'm
Uh,
gonna do.
I love a good wake up early, start playing a game.
Uh,
So yeah.
when I did it for a remake, it was like I made it to the Reactor 5 when you're like with Tifa and Barrett
Yeah.
before I was like, okay, I should take a break to go get food.
That's insane. That's so insane.
I just couldn't.
Uh,
Like I had like snacks or just something to munch on or whatever, but I was like, okay, like
but
I'll go
before
get
you,
pizza or something, like just something substantial.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Anyway, oh, I can't wait.
Yeah. We're going
Uh,
into an exciting couple months.
I'll give you some homework. Find like I obviously know the story inside and out, but like a good YouTube like primer or whatever for like what you should remember from remake before playing Rebirth
Oh,
or
sure.
something. Yeah, I mean even if it's just you, yeah, I just listen to you for half an
uh
hour.
yeah, I feel like I've seen some. I have been like not looking up Rebirth stuff, so I
Not
probably haven't
spoiler,
seen
yeah.
anything to great effect, but we will definitely have an episode where we're going to talk about it before Rebirth comes out. So
Yeah.
if I don't find a good source of that, then it'll probably just be us you know
Yeah.
recapping it ourselves, because I did just do that playthrough like I think that was in like November or something that I just went
Yeah.
through in a
And
remake
and
again.
I guess that's what I mean. Like I am not going to be able to do another playthrough of it. So it's
Yeah.
like how do I get in the headspace again? But anyway,
Yeah.
obviously Final Fantasy VII's in my DNA,
Yeah, yeah. Even just
but
finding like one of those people will just take all the cutscenes and put them into one long movie on YouTube or whatever.
yeah,
That could even be a good way to just sort of refresh.
yeah.
But God, it's gonna be so good. Fuck. It's like a month and a half. I think I saw someone post the other day. It's like 7 weeks. would have been Friday, I guess, or Thursday or Friday. It's like 7 weeks till Rebirth.
Feels like yesterday we were doing a reaction video for
Yeah,
the trailer.
for like
So
the first real significant trailer for it.
yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
Ooh.
and we got Tekken before that. Tekken's in less than 2 weeks now.
Oh man, geez. Well, I'm deep into Tears of the Kingdom. So, or sorry, of Breath of the Wild. So
Yeah, it's gonna fly by for you.
yeah, yeah. But okay, sorry. So yeah, sorry. Short episode.
I did not expect you were that far into Breath of the Wild, honestly. But
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
fine because I live for that stuff. So I don't care if we do a longer episode. If 50% of it was you gushing about Breath of the Wild, then that's 3 hours well spent.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Anyway, no. Thanks again. I'm loving it, and it's kind of opened up a new Zelda chapter for me. So
Yeah.
yep. No, it's been awesome.
Yeah, and I'll get you that list of Switch games to just have handy for when something goes on sale or whatever. I was even thinking, I was like, I might label them like, this is a long game, this is a short game, so you can slot it in appropriately or whatever. Like Xenoblade Chronicles will be on there. That's a game I really think you should play, but it's like 100 hours. Like it is a big RPG, but it's worth it. It's good to know going in. Do this when you have like a month or two of no real games to play.
Yeah. When you're in a dry spell. So
yeah. And then like Metroid Dread will be on there. That's like the newest 2D Metroid, but that's only like a 15-hour game or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna make a list for you to have handy because there's a lot of very good games on this system since it's been out for 7 years.
God. Anyway, classic. But
yeah.
hey, I'm new to the game and I'm loving it. So yeah.
Cool. Okay, well that's what we'll call it, I guess. So yeah, I won't say who yet, because I don't like jinxing myself before we actually do it, but I do have an interview coming up. This episode will come out first. And the interview will probably be sometime in the next week or two. But it is video game music related. So if anyone likes that topic, definitely keep an eye out for that interview. And then you and I will probably get together. We'll probably do it like sometime after Tekken is out. Maybe after like a week of Tekken, we can chat about it, because then we'll want to do one at least a week or two before Rebirth. So sometime in February, we'll definitely do that, and then catch up on your Zelda progress at that point.
Nice. Cool.
So, cool.
Awesome.
That's all I got. Any closing thoughts? I think you just want to go play Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, how much more can I get done before I gotta go to bed?
Also, AGDQ just started today, so if you need something to just watch on the side while you're playing or while you're working or whatever, nice. It just started up today, so it's going for the
week. Awesome. Yeah. I love that. So okay, cool. I love like looking at the games list and being like, making a checklist of like
what you want to catch. Yeah,
these are the speed runs I want to see. And
it's like these are the ones that I will be able to watch this week because they're not in the middle of work hours or whatever. And then these are the ones I will catalog for the week after when I watch all the VODs. And then the week 3 is I'm depressed because I have nothing to watch.
yeah. But I love a good like SNES speed run block or SNES or something like that. But so I'll take a look at what's on the docket because I love those.
They got the full schedule up now, obviously. So and it just started today, so it's a whole week of.
Where is it physically?
Well, I forget. I don't remember. I literally forgot it started today until like something popped up on my phone that they started, the stream went live. I was like, oh shit. So I haven't been like following this one, but it is in person. So it's a proper like in-person event. So that'll be basically on my second monitor for the next 7 days.
Nice. Perfect. Cool.
Okay. That's what we'll call it. Thanks, Matt, for helping us live vicariously through you as a blind Breath of the Wild player. It's really fun.
Nice.
And we'll probably next time we get together, we'll talk about some Tekken. And if you're done the main story of Zelda by that point, then we'll probably talk about that too. Keep an eye out
or if I'm just been exploring.
either way, there will be plenty to talk about.
Yeah.
And then keep an eye out for that interview, hopefully in the next week or two. So yeah, make sure you guys are subscribed so you see that. And yeah, we're getting into like some big boy releases, and it's very exciting. So
Yeah.
I'm glad we were able to get this discussion on the docket and kind of out of the way, so that we won't have a 5-hour episode when we're trying to talk about FF7 and Breath of the Wild at the same time.
Oh god.
So anyway, cool. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it, and thanks everyone for watching. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one.
All right. Cheers, everyone. Bye bye.